Okay, live just a couple of minutes early because why not? I got my mic stand back. Everybody, I literally had people asking if they wanted me to donate to fix the mic stand because it was taped together for a week. A buddy of mine who was breaking down from a show last week left this little attachment arm in the bar that we did the show in, and it's a weekly show. So I did that show again last night, and this little piece of metal that was going to be very difficult to replace was in the little lost and found cup in the sound booth with everybody's fancy pens and pencils and little pieces of rigging and stuff. So W bar for saving my piece of rigging, and now I'm back to my slightly more professional setup. So thank you, Will, who offered to buy me a new boom arm, but I don't need one. And I'm just gonna answer this at the beginning of the live to put it in some people's ears because I get asked about it all the time. The blue thing on my microphone stand is literally just magnets that make it heavier so that it doesn't drift upward throughout the show, which it will without the magnets. And then this little thing is a mushroom because somebody put this in my hair while I was at a show and I thought it was cute, so I took it home and put it on my mic stand, and that's where it lives now. Already got a new follower just from yapping about the microphone for a second. That's great. Sign today. MAGA is brain rot. Probably my most brain rotted sign ever because MAGA is an abbreviation for Trump supporters, and I sometimes get accused of having bad grammar because if you read the sign, MAGA is so and so or whatever, the grammar feels a bit wrong. I will admit the grammar is bad on this one, but that's who cares, right? We're talking about brain rot. Obviously, the sentence Trump supporters is brain rot doesn't make any sense. But it's just a sign, right? Like it is just like a bumper sticker that I put in the background to get people to call in. And I guess the defensible argument I'm trying to make here is that MAGA is fueled by brain rot. I've gotten some experience now. I've spent a lot of hours talking to people who believe some of these nonsense things. Jacob, if you want to talk, hit the request button and you can tell me what you think about me, but I'm going to mute you just for today because I don't have a caller, and I mute people when I don't have a caller if they're dissident in the chat because it encourages you to call in and get the show on the road. So, don't insult brain rot, says Kindle 45 bug. Yeah, I just, there's so many like, I was just this morning before I wrote this sign to start the live, I was editing one of my lives that's going to go up on YouTube because I'm fastidiously working to catch up. I'm like, what is it? Got like a whole sheet here about it. I'm 5 days behind on getting the YouTube VODs up, but I'm tearing through them because I know that the last 5 I did are actually the ones that I did with the intention of posting them. So those should be easier to review, but I was reviewing them, and so many of these calls are people who just like actually can't have a conversation. There's no back and forth. Every time I open my mouth, they jump over me. They say, here's my claim A. I go, oh, the problem with A is that when you look at this, and then before I even finish the sentence, they go, well, here's claim B, here's claim C. No all caps in the chat, please. That's against the rules here. So you get a warning, Brian. No big deal. Who's in the background? Everybody say hello to Merlin back there. He's going to hang out, I guess. Batman says he's my king. All right, so guys, I don't debate with the chat. Certainly not at the beginning of the live. So if you want to participate in the conversation, you are going to need to hit the request button on your screen. Brian, you are going to get muted for all caps. Next time it happens, you'll be banned permanently. Because again, it's just like there's already 25 people here, which is pretty fast. But like there's a couple of you talking in the chat. I'm reading the messages. You don't need to use the all caps. I gave you a warning. We don't do all caps around here. Coin Dropper Tim says Merlin. Yes, Merlin is he's been taking a lot of naps in that particular spot. I always think it's interesting that like a cat will be like, oh, this is a good spot for a nap, and then they'll take naps there twice a day for 8 months and then randomly never sit there ever again. It's fun. Alex Goradio says new favorite debater. Appreciate you. Ooh, who sent me? Cody sent me his heart me. Send me your heart me if you haven't. You get one a day apparently. I wouldn't know because I'm actually not on TikTok very much. I feel like such a hypocrite for being a content creator that doesn't actually use the app. Go Radio. Yeah, maybe someday I'll be on the radio. Maybe someday soon if NPR responds to me and my buddy Derek because we're trying to get knock on their door to talk about some stuff. But I would be. I think I would do well on radio. I've got that endless yapping ability. We already have Orange Lazarus in the chat. We're going to hope this is a Trump supporter. We're going to remind him to not violate the TikTok terms of service. And I will start, as I always do, by asking Orange Lazarus, how old are you?
30.
I believe you. What do you want to talk about?
I'm wondering if you're familiar with the concept of MAGA communism.
This might be a new one. Please explain. What is MAGA communism?
So it was a meme originally coined I believe by Haz Aldin on Twitter, or maybe Logo Daedalus on another, kind of like a little more esoteric handles. But
Okay.
essentially, it means that the kind of base of MAGA that we're seeing splinter off from Trump post like all of his bullshit, that their interests and their principally in like anti-imperialism, anti-war, reindustrializing America, etc., like that, those primary interests that they recognize are only are very much in line with Marxism, like specifically Marxism-Leninism, and that these people should be and can be appealed to on those lines, principally as revolutionary forces in the U.S.
Okay, I am really trying to understand what you're saying, but I just have a couple questions. First of all, it doesn't sound to me like
Sure.
you're a Trump supporter. Are you a Trump supporter?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to give this brief attention just because it's actually interesting and novel, which most of my calls are not. So just to make sure I understand you, what you're saying is that there is a subset of Trump supporters who actually really wanted his campaign promises because he listed some things that maybe actually had to do with his campaign promises, and those are people who are splitting away from him now because he isn't doing those things. Am I tracking correctly?
Somewhat. It actually emerged to describe the entire phenomena of like what we would consider MAGA, right? And so it's identified that this phenomena isn't necessarily, like some people say it's just a cult of personality for Trump. I think I would disagree with that considering how many of them have splintered off him. But that mandate, the way that he called out kind of the establishment, way that
I guess the reason I'm not excited about giving this sort of ideology much airtime is because it's a little bit like, you know, talking to the accelerationists or something like that, where it's, I think that most people who support Trump
disagree.
are in favor of. I'm not saying it's a similar ideology. I'm saying, oh God, I don't have mods here. I have to block a bunch of people. Sorry, I have stuff in the chat to deal with. No caps, everybody. Final warning on everybody. Any more all caps, you're getting banned right away. I'm not dealing with it today. Anyway, I'm not saying it's a similar ideology. I'm saying it's an equally as nonsensical ideology that very few people believe in. I think that almost every person who supported Trump, who has ever supported Trump for any point, even if they've left his camp, are people who believe in capitalism. I think that that's core to Trump's public-facing ideology is capitalism as unchecked as possible. So the idea that you're talking about some large faction of his followers being communists, I'm sorry.
No. That's you've missed the point. The irony is the meme is the unity of opposites, right? So as you correctly state. Yeah, it's a common understanding. So what you've correctly asserted is like, yes, there's been, decades of anti-communist propaganda, the MAGA group being principally like they would very much identify themselves as anti-communist. What they consider communism, though, is this pervert idea of what it actually is, the kind of institutions of like the Democratic Party, academia, that would kind of lord over their daily lives. They just lump that in with communism as opposed to what real communism is, like how it exists in, say, for example, China, is actually much more akin to like what the libertarians argue for. And that basically the argument is that these people hold the most revolutionary potential in America, more so than kind of the global metropolitan liberals or whatever, or the Democratic Party or any of the DSA types, that these people actually hold revolutionary potential, but it is that they need to be, the reality needs to be clarified for them that their interests can only be realized through Marxism-Leninism. That is the unity of MAGA and communism.
I don't recognize that unity. I think you're wrong.
Why?
What you just said about how the ideals of MAGA can only be recognized through communism and Marxism, I think I think the mental gymnastics required to come to that conclusion are the only reason that you're still on this call, because I usually kick people who don't support Trump, but what you're saying is such nonsense that I think it's good for the show. Please keep trying to explain that, because I'll
try to explain it in just one example. Okay, so reindustrialization. You agree?
Pounder in the request queue, please hang on, because sorry to my caller, I am not going to keep you on super long. So Pow, please hang out in the request queue. We'll be talking in 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll be very quickly.
2 or 3 minutes.
Reindustrialization, right, is a primary motivating factor. It created part of the political mandate. It is very much tied to the MAGA movement to reindustrialize America. In order to do that, you have to get rid of the financial tyranny of the United States, finance and monopoly capital that rule over the country and rule over the people, that they are the primary reason why manufacturing has been outsourced to places like China, because it offsets the rate of profit to decline. So in order to reindustrialize, because the dollar is the reserve currency,
you're word salading a bunch of.
It's not word salad. If you don't, just because you don't understand it doesn't mean.
Finish my sentence. I didn't finish my sentence. I used word salading as a verb, and then the rest of the sentence didn't continue, and you already took offense to that and cut me off. But what I'm saying is that you're bringing up a bunch of historically accurate concepts about these ideologies and being like, oh yeah, and then look at this and how this is similar, and like communists have great control over the population, and Trump supporters want great control over this. Yeah, you can spot the similarities.
That's all I'm saying.
You're saying a bunch of shit like that. You're not making a cohesive argument.
I'm saying, I'm giving a specific example of reindustrialization. Reindustrialization,
I just want Orange Lazarus. I'm not going to ask the chat if you're right or wrong. I'm not going to ask the chat if they like me or like you. I'm just going to ask the chat a yes or no question. Is the guest making a cohesive argument of any kind? Are you tracking what the caller is saying? Yes or no? This is just my chat reviewing your ability to talk about the thing that you called in to talk about. Not about whether or not it's right or wrong. Not about whether or not they agree with it. Just whether or not they even understand what your position is right now. So far, we have yes from Great Scott, but we have no, nope, not whatever, no. Yes, he is. Absolutely not tracking their logic. No, Trump hater makes sense. No, somebody says why. I guess that means a yes. I understand what he's trying to say, but it's not valid. No, and no. So a couple people get what you're tracking, what you're trying to say.
Okay.
I'm not one of them.
Let me make it more simple. There is no economic reality in which you can reshore manufacturing in the United States under the current political system that is dominated by finance capital. It is impossible.
That's
the only way to get rid of finance capital. That's a
closed-minded perspective on.
No, it's not. Let me explain. Because the logic of finance capital requires offshoring of manufacturing.
Chat just gave me such a good idea. I need to get I'm going to get a box of crayons. And when somebody like you calls in, I'm going to get out my clipboard and my crayon and I'm going to start trying to track it. Because what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Okay, why did we lose manufacturing to China? Explain it to me. No, explain it to me.
Because China has worse labor and ecological practices than we do.
Because it's cheaper labor, right? It's cheaper.
Yes, I knew the answer. Cheaper labor.
Okay. Why is it cheaper compared to the dollar? Because the dollar is the world's reserve currency, and the mechanisms by the Fed and the financial oligarchs.
You're wrong about that.
Pump up asset prices.
The reason labor is cheaper in China is because they don't protect labor rights as much in China.
That's not true. They have better labor rights than Australia. That's not true. It's propaganda.
Dude, I kick or keep.
Mao says no investigation, no right to speak.
What?
Mao Zedong says no investigation, no right to speak. You just spouted out gibberish propaganda. That is not true at all.
If I'm wrong and China has improved their labor practices, which maybe the chat is saying
tremendously. They have better labor laws than most of Western countries.
Okay.
It's simply, the point is simply that it's cheaper. It's cheaper to do it. The logic of finance capital say, okay, we could pay in American dollars, American labor, pay for their healthcare, pay for their infrastructure, or we could just offshore it to China. That's called variable capital.
Look, there's this thing about people who, whether you're a Trump supporter or not, there's people who respect the American ideal.
I'm a Marxist.
There are people who respect the American ideal and what life is like here, and they want America to be great. And when they talk about labor being cheaper elsewhere, even if it isn't because of labor practices, it is just because, at the end of the day, we're supposed to be living better lives here, right? We're supposed to have better homes. We're supposed to have better healthcare. We're supposed to have these.
Yeah, but the vast majority of wealth in America is fictitious capital, fictitious finance capital that's made in fiat. All
right, dude,
to preserve.
I am gonna kick you
because you don't.
I am gonna kick you, and it is because you're not I don't understand what you're saying. I understand some of the things you're saying, but you're just moving too fast between these complicated things. These people who he called himself a Marxist, which I think if you're a Marxist, you're already pretty far up Schitt's Creek. But the problem with these sorts of callers is that they have these really hyper-specific perceptions on what words like Marxism and communism mean to them. And I would wager to guess that his definitions, were he to just write them down, write me a paragraph on what Marxism is, or write me a paragraph on what communism is, or write me a paragraph on what finance capital is, he would write a bunch of Twitter sphered nonsense about that shit, and a professor who studies these things would look at it and go, well, no, that's not like the definition we use. That's not a good historical lens. That's not what most people mean when they talk about these things. So when you kind of echo chamber yourself into these connections between these ideas. If you're saying that MAGA is an inherently communist ideology, or that the only way to achieve MAGA ideals is through communism, like your brain's a pretzel, dude. Like you need to, I don't know what he's about. I would talk to him for longer if he was able to explain what the fuck he's talking about. Orange Lazarus came back immediately in the chat and said, just because you don't understand what I'm saying doesn't mean it can't be understood. Correct, but it does mean you're doing a fucking terrible job at explaining yourself, because I'm not a dumb guy and I just wasn't tracking. So I mean Orange Lazarus, like go this is going to be on YouTube in a few days. Note the date. Go listen to the conversation that you just had with me after the fact. Listen to it again and call in another time and try again. Because I'm not even opposed to platforming those types of, in my opinion, rather silly perspectives. I just need you to make sense. I need you to stay on one thing. Orange Lazarus says, it could be that I'm not educated enough to understand. That's a possibility, but you were doing a terrible job of educating me. One of the things I have to do on these lives is I have to detect the thing that is causing the person I'm talking to not understand and address that thing. I have to go, I think the reason that you don't see why this is a problem is because you don't understand the role of the president. We need to talk about the three branches of the government. So when you just word salad steamroll at me, like, yeah, I'm sure there's something about this stuff that I don't understand. Jake, I'll get to you in just a second. Thank you for entering the queue. So it's just like, you just need to do a better job explaining it, because I'm not stupid. I might be uneducated about these particular ideologies you're talking about, but you are not going to convince anybody with this communication strategy. It just isn't going to work. That's just an advice from somebody who spends a lot of time sharing my ideas with other people on the internet. Like, get a cohesive argument figured out, dude, that other people understand. You're using definitions of words that only you understand because you've kind of pigeonholed yourself in that sense. So maybe we'll hear from Orange Lazarus again. Did I mute him? I'm just going to mute him because I know he's going to be, just for the day, you're not banned or anything, just come back another time because I'm not interested in spending more of today's show on it. We are going to talk to Jake. Hopefully Jake will actually be a Trump supporter. Hopefully Jake will actually be able to explain what his side of this is and not disobey the TikTok terms of service. And first of all, answer the question, how old are you, Jake?
21.
I believe you. I believe you for now. What do you want to talk about? Hello? He's not muted, but it does sound to me like his background noise went away, like his microphone is turned off in some way. Are you still there, Jake? Jake, okay, I'm going to kick you, Jake. Feel free to get right back in. I think we're just having a technical issue, and kicking you and bringing you back in might get us back on board. So please hop right back in the queue and we can keep talking to you. Everybody else, get double tapping away on the screen. We got 100 people watching, 10 new followers, so welcome to the new viewers. But yeah, we do need to keep the show cooking on the For You page to get new people in here, because I have a pretty loyal following at this point of people who watch during my 10 to 12 Central Standard Time block that I do these debates. But we do need to get new viewers in, or it is just the same half dozen people calling in, making the same half dozen bad arguments over and over and over again. Conald Trump says, Oscar, what's your political affiliation, if you don't mind me asking? I identify as a democratic socialist. Like, obviously, like, if we're just talking about left versus right, I'm on the left. But to be specific, I democratic socialist would be right. But you know, I believe in democracy. I believe in, like, you know, capitalism under most circumstances. There's a few circumstances where capitalism is really bad, and, you know, like healthcare and education and stuff, policing, stuff like that. So that's where the socialism comes in. You know, I believe in some welfare programs, think that's good. You know, got to uplift the downtrodden people if you want your society to be successful. That's good. Comrade says you're not on the left. Okay, hot take. I'm Republican. Brad Emerson says I'm Republican, but I'm not MAGA. Generally, I reserve that for the Just Us Girls hour that starts at 12 o'clock, because we really are just trying to convince people to not support Trump. Cigarette Lighter 84 is in the queue. We're going to remind him to be a... Oh, request canceled. Nope, he left right away. Maybe he clicked the button by accident. Hello, Midwest Progressive. Who else is here? I saw Gossip Marin is here. Mama Avery is here. Oh, I got the whole team here. This is great. That's not true. I've got other people on the team. Don't feel bad if I didn't say your name. Do you believe there is an underground shelter below Zorro Ranch? Oh, is that like an Epstein conspiracy theory? That, I mean, maybe, right? Like, I don't. Am I right about that? Is Zorro Ranch the Epstein property where we think potentially there are, like, corpses? Maybe. I don't know. We need to investigate that stuff. If you're a socialist, you're not a capitalist. That's a really narrow perspective to like say about democratic socialists, because what democratic socialists are about is allowing capitalism to work for like 99.9% of circumstances. It's just that, you know, in terms of the dollars spent, there are these major sectors where it's like, no, we shouldn't use capitalism in prisons. We shouldn't use capitalism in hospitals. Like there's a bunch of stuff, and then we should handle those things with like socialist ideologies because they're better for society. So like if you just want to flatly say like, oh, socialism is anti-capitalism, there's no nuance, then like I'm sorry, we do nuance here. We talk about, you know, specific details. Go Google what democratic socialism is. It's not strictly adverse to capitalism. It is adverse to free market capitalism, completely like laissez-faire economics, which is at the other end of the political spectrum. So again, you can just declare that that's wrong, but it's really not, you know, it's really not interesting. Bolt Campaign. I've spoken to him before. Oh, request canceled. What's going on? Why are my requests canceling? I wonder if that twice in a row is unusual. So I wonder if there's something going on with my account. But I don't know. I've taken calls today, so probably not. We've got Spin the Wheel 49. Spin the Wheel 49. We're gonna make sure this is a Trump supporter. I've been forgetting to ask that lately. How old are you, Spin the Wheel 49?
I'm 18.
I'm gonna believe
yourself?
I'm 30. I'm gonna believe you for now, but I'm skeptical just because you do sound young, and I always gotta, you know, if we get to a place where I don't believe you, I'm gonna start at
February 1st, 2008.
That tracks. So again, you're newly 18. I'm just, if I find myself not believing you, I will start asking, you know, are you an adult type questions. You're a Trump supporter?
Yep, I am. I want to ask why you think MAGA is brain rot.
Yeah, it's one of my sillier signs that I've written to hang over my shoulder, but I really think that what's going on is that there's a brain rot problem generally, just in the world because of social media and because of the way that people engage with their phones and what happens to people's attention spans. And unfortunately, for people your age, there's a lot that's led to you having a hard upbringing, potentially. I'm not talking specifically about you, but your age group are people who missed a lot of school because of COVID and have been, you know, babysat by screens since you were very, very young. Because I remember before we had touch screens in our pocket, but you don't. What I'm saying is that MAGA is like the Trump supporting movement has benefited from people having brain rot. It's a fool who believes in that Trump is good for America, and it's a fool that has brain rot. That's kind of the point.
Hey, well, I think you're delusional for thinking Kamala would be better than Trump at anything.
Yeah, I would counter that by saying that you are delusional for saying that. Why do you think that Kamala is so unqualified to be the president?
Because she's an idiot and she didn't do anything as vice president.
She did lots as vice president.
Literally nothing.
Why do you think that she's an idiot? She was the district attorney for California. I don't think
because she shouldn't be running for president. It should be men.
Oh, so you're just sexist? You don't think that women should?
No, I'm not sexist. I just think men have done it all the way along. I don't think we should switch it up.
Okay, so I would say that that's a pretty direct, like obviously sexist thing to say. You're going to argue to me that it's not sexist.
I mean, I guess I'm sexist, but I just don't want an idiot like Kamala Harris who doesn't know anything about anything to be our president.
So just to be clear, you think that Kamala Harris is an idiot because she's a woman?
She's controlled by the elites.
Well, no, you're moving on to a bunch of different things, and I actually want to hold you to this. I asked why you don't think that she's qualified to be president, and you said that she's an idiot. I asked why you think that she's an idiot, and then you moved on to talking about her being a woman. So do you think that women are idiots?
Some of them, yeah. Not all of them.
Yeah, well, that's true. Some women are idiots.
The ones that are
some are not
Democrats,
idiots.
Yeah.
So women are only idiots if they're Democrats.
Yeah, a lot of them are, yeah.
Okay, is it a lot or all of them? Because I asked, I'm asking about whether or not you think that women are idiots, and you said that the ones that are Democrats.
Just depends why they're a Democrat, I guess.
So depending on the reason that they're a Democrat, they may or may not be an idiot.
Sure.
Okay. Funny enough, what you're saying is actually like technically true so far. It's also true of men, so it's not really an important thing. But I really just want.
Yeah, there's a lot of idiot men out here too, and I'm pretty sure you're one of them.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not really going to get my feelings hurt by a sexist 18-year-old who thinks that women.
Never said you were. I never said you were going to get your feelings hurt.
I never said that you said I was going to get my feelings hurt. I was just announcing that I wasn't.
You literally just said that, though. You literally just said that.
Yes, I did. I said that you're not going to hurt my feelings. I didn't accuse you of telling me that you were going to hurt my feelings. I just announced that you were going to hurt my feelings.
Grow a pair. Debate me, dude.
Okay,
Tell me why you think Trump's such a bad president.
I'm actually going to stick on the thing we're talking about, is that you think that women don't belong in politics. You said that because we've been doing it this way.
Not politics in general. I just said president. I didn't say politics in general.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. So you think that no woman, we should never have a female president. Is that your position?
I think we could, just not Kamala Harris.
Okay, so we're kind of sidestepping the sexism, and we're going back to that you think she's an idiot, but you brought up the sexism about women being president when I asked
Yeah,
you
it's a part of it. It's definitely a part of it. I'd prefer a man to be running.
Okay, I actually want to address something you
president.
said a little earlier on in the conversation, just to see if you're going to argue in any kind of good faith, because this is a pretty fascinating conversation that I'm having with you. You said that this is the way we've been doing it forever, all along, right?
Yep.
So in 1860, somebody might have said something about slavery, like, this is the way we've been doing it all along. We've had slaves the entire time. They've helped build the country. They've been so good for our economy. Why should we ever change that? Would you agree with that sort of argument in favor of slavery?
Well, they're two completely different things.
But it's the same argument that you're saying that we've been doing it this way all along.
It's not the same argument. It's two different contexts.
Well, right, but an argument has to work in all contexts, or it's a bad argument, which is why we do hypotheticals to check if
Okay, well, yours was a worse argument than mine was. Let's be real.
No, it was the same
You brought
argument.
up slaves. Like, what?
Yeah, and you brought up women not being president. Both are terrible things to argue.
Mine was better than slaves.
I would argue. I would argue that it is correct that thinking that women shouldn't be the president is a less reprehensible belief than thinking that we should keep people enslaved. But what you said is that this is the way we've been doing it all along. And what I am pointing out to you is that that's a bad argument, because it's an argument that up until we abolished slavery...
Well, it's not a bad argument for my context.
Well, you're right, but that's exactly the problem, what you just said. You said it's not a bad argument for my context, but what I am trying to educate you on is that an argument is good or bad regardless of the context, and you should only use good arguments to defend the things that you believe in. And you don't get to decide that an argument is good because it supports your side of something. I just pointed out that the type of argument that you made in favor of not having a woman president is the type of argument that a person could have made prior to the abolition of slavery to support continuing slavery. So can you admit that that's a bad type of argument to make?
Mine wasn't. Yours was. Yeah.
What's the difference between our two arguments?
Yours was slaves, mine was women.
Right, but the argument for that was the same, which the argument is we've been doing it this way all along.
Dude, let's debate. Why are we talking about this stupid shit?
We are debating right now about your argument.
Dude, we know your argument was worse. Let's just all...
No, we
can all admit that your argument was worse.
My argument was the same as yours. The outcome was the worst.
No, it wasn't. Yours was slaves. Mine was Kamala Harris being able to run for president. Hell no.
Right, but I think you're fundamentally demonstrating that you just don't understand how argumentation works, because you're not recognizing that the outcome of an argument doesn't affect whether or not it's a good argument. The content of the argument does, and the argument in these two cases between slavery and allowing
Clearly,
I do,
because you're losing to an 18-year-old in a debate, by the way.
I don't think that I am. I'm actually just trying to get you to understand this. Do you recognize that the arguments are the same? The argument is literally, we've been doing it this way all along. We should keep doing it this way. That's the argument. The context, the two contexts are a person in 1860 defending slavery and you right now saying that women shouldn't be president. You understand that
Bring up a different context than slaves. Let's go.
Something that up until the 1980s, women couldn't get their husbands charged for raping them if their husbands raped them, because the law defined rape in such a way.
Their husbands don't rape them. Like what? They're married. That's dumb as hell.
Okay, so you actually think that we shouldn't have changed the law and women still shouldn't be able to charge their husbands with rape?
Why would they be married to someone if they're raping them? That doesn't make fucking sense.
Well, in my example, the rape happens after the marriage. Like imagine you marry a girl, and then a week later you want to have sex with her. She says no, so you have sex with her without her permission, which we call rape.
That wouldn't happen though.
It does happen. It does happen to lots of people. It's really bad.
Not with me.
Not with you is really demonstrating that you... I don't think you can track a hypothetical. I don't think you're able to
No,
understand.
I can. I just don't think it's a... I don't think you should be saying that on here.
Okay. So I gave an example of a reprehensible thing, and I was going to use the same argument to defend that, but we actually found a reprehensible thing.
Yeah, I'm sure that's happened, but...
We actually found a reprehensible thing that you're in favor of, so I'm just going to give myself the W on that example and move on to a different one.
You're not getting the W on anything, by the way.
We used to not allow black people to be in the same schools as white people, and you could make the argument that that's the way we've always done it. We shouldn't change that until we did.
Shit. That was how it used to be, bro.
Yeah, right. And before we changed it, you could make the argument that it's been that way all along and we shouldn't change it, which is the type of argument you're making about a woman being president. I use slavery as an example. I use women be getting raped by their husbands as an example, but you seem to think it's okay for women to get raped by their husbands, so I just moved on past that. Now I'm using segregation in schools as an example. There's a lot of bad things where you could have said, right the day before we took that policy away, that we've been doing it that way forever, why should we change it? I'm saying that that's a bad argument. That's what we're debating right now. Is it a good argument to say we've been doing it this way all along, we shouldn't change it? I'm arguing no and giving a bunch of reprehensible examples from American history. You're sitting here defending rapists and saying that women shouldn't be the president, and you think you're winning the debate.
Who's a rapist?
The men who rape their wives who weren't charged for it up until the 80s because the law didn't define rape that way. Also Donald Trump, but that's not what I was talking about.
Donald Trump is not a rapist.
I'm not going to let us get sidestepped by that because I spent so much time talking about the E. Jean Carroll case, but I just want to address the fact again.
The E. Jean Carroll case, she's a liar. She said it about 20 other men.
We're not going to get sidetracked by that. We're going to stay on the topic, which is that you think it's a good argument.
You're easily manipulated.
We're not going to get sidetracked by that. I know you saw a shiny thing, and that's very difficult for you. I have ADHD too.
Not sidetracking.
I've gotten it under control. I'm going to bring us back.
Point.
I'm going to bring us back to the debate. So you're for women getting raped by their husband. You think that's okay? How do you feel about segregation? I never said that was okay. Okay, do we need to go back to that topic? Because you said that it doesn't happen, that a person being raped by their husband is a nonsensical idea.
I'm sure it happened, but
who's
to say they didn't agree to it?
In my hypothetical, they didn't, because the hypothetical is a husband raping their wife, and her not agreeing to it is part of me saying that she didn't agree to it. No consent. It was a rape. We're talking about rape.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So again, do you think that women should be able to get their husbands in trouble if they rape them?
Yeah, no shit.
Okay, so now you're on board. You've caught up to the president. You do think it's okay, and we only changed that law like in the 1980s. I forget the exact year, somewhere around then. So prior to that, a man might have said, well, for all of American history, we've been letting men rape their wives. Why should we change that now? Which is the argument that you made for not allowing women to be president. So do you think that that's a good argument still?
Yeah, I do, because it was completely different context still, bro. Like, the ones you're bringing up are shitty. Mine's like a normal, like, it can be said.
You're right. The only difference between my examples and yours is that you agree with the answer on yours, but you recognize that the arguments are the same, right?
Sure, yes, bro.
Okay,
yes.
So you're changing whether or not you think an argument is good based on the answer you get to by using that argument, right?
Sure.
That means that you're a dumb fuck. I'm sorry. That
doesn't mean I'm a dumb fuck.
It sure does, buddy.
Dude, you're a fucking Kamala supporter and you think I'm the dumb fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, do you know how bad our country would be right now if Kamala was president?
I think it would be better.
We'd be in a fucking shitter. We'd have fucking illegal immigrants in here like it was fucking nothing. Like bringing drugs into our country, fucking killing people, mass murders.
You know, Kamala Harris actually laid out a bunch of things that she thought would happen if Trump became president, and she was right about all of them.
No, she wasn't. She didn't lay out shit. She's told what to say. She's a dumbass just like Joe Biden was.
Are you just making these things up? I don't actually even believe you're giving me talking points because I know the talking points.
No, I'm not making shit up. I know the things they say on Fox
News.
So you'll learn.
Yeah, but you're not.
Everything's a lie, dumbass. I wish you would open up your brain.
Everything's a lie.
And use common sense. Yes, you know our world is not round, right? Our Earth is not round.
All right, just a few questions. Yeah. You're trolling probably, but I'll just ask you.
I'm not trolling. I'm being dead ass. Our Earth is flat, and it's gonna come out soon. I promise you.
Okay,
that.
Can I just ask you a couple questions to check if you're trolling? Do you know the 3 branches of the government?
Yeah, I do.
What are they?
Legislative, executive, and judicial.
What do they do?
The fuck you mean? What do they do?
Yeah,
they're the branches of our government.
Brief description of what the responsibilities of each of the 3 of them are.
Okay, which one?
We'll start with the executive.
Okay, executive, you jerk your dick and then you start sucking on it, you fat fuck.
Okay, so you don't understand how the government works, to be clear.
I don't fucking care about it. Like, I could care less. That's not what I'm talking about politics right now. I'm not talking about our 3 branches of government.
Do you not understand that how the government functions is wildly important to discussing politics?
I mean, it can be. I just don't really pay attention to what they all do. I just learn my shit because I have a fucking brain.
Right. So I recommend that you learn how the government works because you're demonstrating that you don't even know how the government works. You don't even know what the president's job is.
Yeah, I do know what the president's job is. It's to make our country a better place.
If you don't understand the three branches of the government, then you don't understand the job of the president.
I literally do. It's to make our country a better place, to do what's right for our people.
No, that's not how the government works. You're wrong about that.
Well, that's how it works in my brain.
Is there anything else misogynistic or
So you're saying you want them to not make our country better?
I am going to kick you because the chat is requesting that I kick you. But before I kick you, is there anything else misogynistic
because you're losing a debate. So you're just going to go ahead and kick me because you lost. GG's, bro.
Anything else misogynistic or terrible you'd like to say before I kick you?
The Artemis 2 mission was fake.
Cool. All right. Yeah, that was fine. I know he was a troll. I know he was like not taking it seriously. But again, I need to put it on blast because he's 18. He's an adult. He's freshly an adult. J-Man, we're going to get to you in just a second. So hang on. It's just, I do think it's valuable to demonstrate. Like that's the sign literally says MAGA is brain rot. Like I don't think I could have a better sign up for that call because it's a perfect demonstration of what I'm talking about. Like that guy saying that all this nonsense he's making up is facts and everything else is lies. It's a demonstration of the point. So I just wanted to draw that out. And people are putting quotes around adult in the chat, but like, yeah, dude has voting rights. That dude might vote in the midterms. That's why we're doing this. We got to talk to these people. We gotta. Yeah, anyway, we're going to talk to J-Man. We're going to ask J-Man to be a Trump supporter, not disobey the TikTok terms of service. And we'll start, of course, by asking J-Man, how old is he? Hello? Hello? J-Man! J-Man! Yo, 5, 4, 3. Oh, he left. Spin to wheel 49. Is that who we were just talking to? Is he back? I'll accept and just check who that is again. Who is this?
Yo, I can prove you the Artemis mission is fake and that our Earth is flat, right?
Okay. All right. Yeah, he's back. I have such a hole in my brain where I'm supposed to remember who I just talked to. I can never keep these usernames straight. I'm getting better at hosting these debate lives, but that is something I really seriously struggle with. We don't have any callers in the queue, and the previous one who wants to talk is just trying to tell us that the Earth is flat. So brain routed away. So get double tapping away on the screen so we can get pushed on that For You page and get more Trump supporters in here. Because when we get new Trump supporters in, it's my favorite thing when a new caller calls in because I'm getting sick of talking to the same people over and over and over again. el.chico.tech.edu wants me to talk about the Southern Poverty Law Center lawsuit. I have looked into it, and it does seem like Trump's weaponized DOJ and FBI are going after them for doing something pretty reasonable. Here's what happened. The Southern Poverty Law Center used donor money to pay informants who worked at places like the Ku Klux Klan and other extremist groups in order to get those places caught. And what the FBI is alleging is that they misused donor money to support extremist groups like the Ku Klux Klan. But yeah, fucking obviously you could look at somebody paying an informant, funding an informant at one of these things and say, look, they're funding these bad people. And it's like, yeah, it's part of how informants and investigations work. I've taken a look at all of it, and I think it's completely baseless. And it is just the government going after a rights organization that does a lot of work to get to take down extremist organizations. Yes, some money gets spent on things that are for extremist organizations when you pay people to be informants and like insert themselves in there, like if I was pretending to be in the Ku Klux Klan to gather information on them, I might request, hey, can I have $200 to buy pizza for everybody at the meeting so that they like me? And that's me spending money supporting the Ku Klux Klan. But anybody who's reasonable can see the benefit of having an informant do that to win favor. That's just an example I made up. But that's the claim. They're saying that using donor money to do that is fraud. Which is ridiculous. This is transparently what the Southern Poverty Law Center has been doing for decades, which is why this indictment from the FBI is like really comprehensive because they didn't hide any of this. They did it in like plain sight of the FBI. And el.chico.tech.edu says not if the donors are not aware of. Tell me this, el.chico.tech.edu, before I mute you for getting me to engage with the chat instead of insisting on getting callers. Tell me this. How are you supposed to have a confidential informant if you post all of the payments to your confidential informants so that your donors can see them? They're investigators. Necessarily, some of the work they do is secret. It's ridiculous. Baseless. Absolutely baseless, these claims against them. And I'm not interested in talking to el.chico.tech.edu about it anymore. But we've got ROMO in the queue. We're going to talk to ROMO, who hopefully is a Trump supporter, hopefully won't violate the TikTok terms of service, and hopefully will start the call by telling me his age. How old are you, ROMO?
I'm 48.
I believe you. What do you want to talk about?
Well, you say the MAGA brain rot thing. I mean, I'm supportive of the president right now, especially right now, because we're in a war with Iran. And if Iran maintains control of the Strait of Hormuz, they will become an oil hegemon of the world, controlling 20% of the world's oil supply. And they can undermine our position in the Asian Pacific and make it more likely that China will invade and take over Taiwan, which would be very bad for American interests, since they would control 90% of the.
Well, so the fact of the matter is they've had control over the Strait of Hormuz for ages. They just have kept it open because we weren't starting a war with them. So Trump started a war with them, and now the strait is closed. So there's lots of things that I'll just say generally. There's
so we're talking about the present.
Right.
We're talking about the present.
Right. We're talking about the present.
I'm talking about what we should do. We need to escalate and take over the strait.
But do you recognize that we shouldn't have started the war at all? That would have been better?
Sure. Yeah. That how things have turned out is
okay. So we're already saying that we need to clean up.
We're currently losing. We're currently losing right now.
I mean, I don't really understand how you're still a Trump supporter. I agree that we should clean up the mess in a way that gets the strait open, but you're sitting here telling me that he shouldn't have done the thing that caused it to be closed in the first place. Sounds like you are not a Trump supporter.
I mean, when let me give you a historical analogy, if you give me a moment. In World War II, after we were attacked by the Japanese kicked us out of the Philippines. They, you ever heard of the Bataan Death March? Mm-hmm. They killed a lot of American soldiers, complete defeat of American forces. And they did this for about a year and a half. So, but we didn't, at that moment, when they were beating our ass, or beating American forces in the Pacific, we didn't throw up our hands and say, well, we should have been ready for that attack. We shouldn't have gone and tried to fight them. We shouldn't have taken over the Philippines. I mean, they have a right to self-determination. Let's just go ahead and throw up our hands and give up and allow Japan to be imperial power of the Pacific. Did we do that, or did we escalate?
I'm not educated.
It's a question.
I'm not.
It's just a question.
I don't know. I'm not educated about that part of history. I to be straightforward.
You don't know about World War II?
I don't know every detail about every land grab that happened as World War II concluded. You found a piece of trivia I don't know.
You don't need to know.
W guessed, I don't know about this particular thing that happened in the Indo-Pacific 70 years ago. I must be wrong about the war in Iran. I'm giving up my live streaming career. That's it. Curtains, everybody. The show's over. Oskar didn't know a thing about World War II. The guest must be right.
I'm giving you information. I mean, you have choices here. You don't have to accept my reading of history. You can say, no, you're wrong. Actually, this is what happened. Or you can engage with it. That's the other option. You can engage with it and say why my reasoning is wrong.
I just answered your question. Like I said that I don't know, and you immediately jumped down my throat.
Okay, then engage with the facts that I've laid out.
Okay.
You don't have to say, well, I don't know. I'm not an expert on the subject.
I'm just so much more interested in talking
about it.
I'm just so much more interested in talking about the fact that you support a president that you started the call by admitting shouldn't have started the war that we're in.
Yes. Okay.
I'd rather talk about that than World War II. I don't think we need a historical analogy to assess that fact. You already admitted he shouldn't have started the war.
People supported the president at that time, and it resulted in an American victory and United States becoming a world superpower. So I'm undermining your argument. I don't know if you're noticing this or not. I'm undermining the argument.
Maybe it would be worth talking about if you had said that we shouldn't.
Listen, in a bad situation.
I'm not going to stop talking until you stop talking. You need to let me get a word in edgewise here. I'm running the show. I am in charge. I will remind you of that.
I thought you gave up. Sorry.
No, I don't like using the mute button. It's just more fun to talk over people because it makes the guest look really bad. I don't think that muting the guest makes them look bad. I think it makes the host look bad. So I don't mute the guest. I just talk over them. So what I'm going to say is that if you were telling me that the Iran war is good and Trump should have invaded Iran or started bombing Iran or however you want to label it, then we could sit and maybe talk about this historical context that justifies this sort of behavior. But you already conceded that he shouldn't have started the war. So my question again, that you are just trying to sidestep by talking about history from 70 years ago, is why are you able to support a president that you just openly admitted to me in the audience that you don't think should have started the war that we're in, and you think that we need to desperately get out of this Strait of Hormuz being closed situation that we're in because the war started? I want to talk about the fact that he started the war. I want to talk about the fact that he pulled out of the JCPOA in his first term, which led to this situation where he started the war, gave him the excuses he needed to start this war. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, so I've already conceded that given how things are now, 2020 hindsight, it probably would have been better not to have attacked them, because now they are controlling a type of control that they weren't doing before.
Okay, so roughly everybody on the roughly.
I'll even concede. Listen, I'll even concede that they probably could have done this before, but they weren't doing it before.
Yeah, because we weren't bombing them. Yeah, so again,
exactly.
like, why do you support Trump then if he did that? That's an egregious fuck up for the president.
I'm agreeing with you. You don't need to argue about this.
But you still support Trump. I'm asking why you still support Trump in light of what
2020. It would have been better them not to. We shouldn't have attacked them if it meant that they were going to exercise this type of control over the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, so we're now at the present, right? So we can.
The question is the topic. I'm in charge, and the topic of the live is why do you support a president who has fucked up in such a way that you yourself just laid out?
Right, because he's the commander in chief. Okay, he represents America's interest in the world.
And he's fucking up egregiously at it. So no, we don't support that. It's un-American to support the president when they're fucking up.
You can say, I know. Maybe it's hard for you to make these to be subtle in life. But you can disagree with someone when they do something bad, but realize that given the decisions that have been made, we now have to win.
Oh my God! You're using the abused partner argument. You're like, yeah, he's flawed. He did a terrible thing that was harmful and caused a lot of suffering.
No one's perfect.
But now that's nobody's perfect. But I'm going to stay with him because I don't know why. I'm asking you why you're staying with the abusive partner.
He's the president of the United States.
Yeah, I know. He's my boyfriend. We've been together so long. My life is so intertwined with his.
Boyfriend. It's a little different than your boyfriend.
I'm saying you're using the logic of a person who's defending an abusive partner.
Well, it's not abuse. I don't know how you define abusive, but if you're calling abusive decisions that maybe didn't turn out as well as you thought, you call that abusive, I guess.
I think bombing schools
you want to make that
abusive.
If you want to make your analogy work, I think you would need to say that.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who's literally bombing people, like killing people. So, I think it's a fair analogy.
This is not new. I don't know if you know this. This is not new. Democratic presidents have done this.
What wars did Biden start?
Ever since the Battle of Kadesh. Maybe you don't know about that either.
I'm not interested in hearing about every bad thing that's happened in history,
dude. People have been fighting wars.
Why do you defend a president who started a war he shouldn't have started?
Because this is part of the human condition. We attack people. We make war with
He's just
people.
like that. He just hits me sometimes. Sometimes he says things that make me feel really good. When he's not hitting me, he makes me feel really good. That's your argument, dude. Okay. It's fucked up.
No, what is it? What you have? It sounds like, and I'm guessing because you're a liberal and an idealist, and you assume the best in human nature. You think that people are
not an idealist, and I do not assume the best. Do you think I could assume the best in human nature and have this role as a host of this live? That's insane. But again, why are you defending your abuser?
Again, this has to do with realpolitik. If Iran remains in control of the Strait, if let's say we don't escalate,
answer the question. No, stop talking. No, you're not. The question is, why do you support a person who did something so egregiously bad?
Right now. I'm literally answering it. If you give me 10 seconds, I'll get to the money shot, if you will. Okay, if we allow Iran to remain in control of the Strait, they will become an oil hegemon. Do you know what an oil hegemon is? That means they control 20% of the world's oil. They can tank our economy. They can tank the economies of our allies.
Can I ask a question?
That is not in America's interest.
I have a question.
To answer your question, please. Why am I supporting Donald Trump in the war that I disagree we should have started? It's because if we leave it as is, if we leave Iran in control of the Strait, they will become a world hegemon, a center of world power. They will bankrupt our allies, and they will empower our enemies. Is that clear?
Okay, so you're saying that we have a responsibility to take over the global oil market to make sure that Americans are safe from fluctuations?
Well, not the global oil market, but we can't allow Iran to become an oil hegemon. Okay, they don't like us, right?
Right. I just want
a good reason.
I just have a question, dude. Slow down. Slow down. Stop. Shut up. You need to not move on to the next thing before I've responded. I'm actually trying to respond to what you're saying, and you need to let me do that. So I have a question. I have a background question about your thoughts on Trump's actions, given that you feel that we shouldn't allow this type of control over the global oil market because it's bad for the American people. You said that we shouldn't allow Iran to become an oil hegemon, but Trump is directly supporting his role of doing that because we've taken control of the oil reserves in Venezuela, which was illegal and done by a war of conquest, by the way. Just this year in January that happened, and instead of using that oil to to lighten the blow that the American people are facing at the pump and with our inflation rate by using that oil to shore up the energy market in the United States. Instead of doing that, which would be reasonable and would suggest that he's thinking in the way that you think he's thinking, instead of doing that, he's selling that oil on the global market, which he has inflated by starting the war in Iran. So he's making more money than he otherwise would be in the war in Iran. And the money from those oil sales are going into offshore accounts that the government doesn't have control of, which is fucking suspicious. It reeks of corruption and fraud, but we don't even know what's happening with this money because the government doesn't have control over it. So like, again, I just call bullshit on everything you say about his intentions here because it doesn't align with his actions.
Okay, well, you bring up the point about the Venezuelan oil. Why aren't we selling it? Why aren't we putting it out to market?
He is, but he's not benefiting the American people. He's just keeping the money.
Well, I wanna push back on your assumption on your claim that you're saying that the Venezuelan oil is ready to be put in the market.
Not all of it. A lot of it's in the ground and it needs infrastructure. I recognize that. But he has taken over the existing infrastructure in Venezuela and he's selling that oil on the global market, making greater profits because he inflated the price of oil by starting the war in Iran. And he's not using that money or oil to benefit American people. It seems to me, just looking at those details, that one of the contributing factors to him starting the war in Iran, which is itself another country that controls a lot of the world's oil, as you pointed out yourself, isn't anything to do with you or me living better lives. It's because he wanted to sell fucking Venezuelan oil and make bank.
Okay, so let me address an assumption in your argument. I don't think you're taking into account. So Venezuelan oil is called, and I'm gonna get granular here. Okay, this is something that people are not gonna know unless you really look into this. So Venezuelan oil and Middle Eastern oil are different. Venezuelan oil is considered heavy, extra heavy. Much of Venezuelans' reserves, particularly the Orinoco belt, where they're getting their oil, they're extracting it from the ground, consists of a heavy or extra heavy crude. Okay, it's a thick, viscous, and sometimes the consistency of like tar or molasses at room temperature. But Middle Eastern oil is different. Most Middle Eastern exports, they call it like Arab Light, for example.
Okay, just because I'm going to do it. Wait. Just for my audience, I'm going to do a better job of. Dude, shut up. I'm in charge of the live. You need to listen to me. Right. Be quiet. I don't use the mute button, so you just have to listen to me when I say that, or else you're going to look really, really bad with me spending a bunch of the live trying to control it. Because I'm going to do a better job explaining to my audience the type of thing that you're talking about than the ChatGPT blurb that you're reading. So here's what he's trying to explain to you. Not all crude oil is made equal. When you have things like kerosene, which is jet fuel, or gasoline in cars, or diesel that big trucks run on, or petroleum products like oil that go into the engines of cars, or petroleum products like petroleum jelly, or the materials that we make plastics out of. All of that stuff is present in crude oil to a varying degree. You can have crude oil that's very rich in the sort of hydrocarbon lengths that make good jet fuel or diesel or whatever, or you can have petroleum products that are more, by percentage of weight, more beneficial for making things like plastic and petroleum jelly and motor oil, stuff like that. So yes, not all crude oil is made equal. This is a bunch of mumbo jumbo that's, you brought up to make yourself look smart. Sorry, you're talking to a guy who understands the chemistry of petroleum products, and this has nothing the fuck to do with the fact that Trump has inflated the global oil market and is selling the stolen Venezuelan oil to benefit himself. What is your answer to that? I don't care about the fucking chemistry.
Well, the chemistry is important. I know maybe you don't care about chemistry, but the chemistry is important because it has to do with the production. How easy it is to get it to
much
market.
Of the oil, I already said this, in Venezuela, much of the oil in Venezuela doesn't have infrastructure to make use of it. I recognize that. But the existing infrastructure,
how long
we have taken over.
Venezuela? How long ago did we take over Venezuela?
You're not hearing me, dude. We don't need to build new infrastructure to have taken over the existing infrastructure. It's not of great consequence that not all of the oil is available to us because Venezuela has more oil reserves than literally any other country on the planet. So the amount that they were producing is still fucking enormous, and Trump is still lining his own pockets by selling it in his inflated market that he created with his war in Iran. You are just talking about chemistry and the different types of crude oil to ignore this obvious economic fact.
I'm talking about supply. That was my point. But
he made the oil prices higher by decreasing the supply, and then he, having taken over a different chapter of the supply in Venezuela, is selling that for profit. That's the topic, and you're refusing to even address it.
Right. You even made the argument. No, I am addressing it. If you let me speak, I agree with you that because the different oils are different, they support different products. Okay, like fertilizer, things like that. These are all things that Iran would control. Okay, this has nothing to do with Venezuelan oil.
But
nothing to do with Venezuela
but the Venezuelan oil that Trump is selling on the global market.
How much fertilizer? How much fertilizer is coming out of Venezuela?
Dude, let me tell you what I was just about to say. What I'm saying is that the chemistry doesn't matter to the fact that Trump is making greater profits selling Venezuelan oil than he would be if he didn't start the war in Iran, and he could be doing that to benefit the American people, but he isn't. Why? Explain this behavior by the president.
Well, again, you're making this claim. You haven't provided any evidence. You're just making claims without evidence. So I can't respond to that because all you're saying is he's doing this, he's doing that, and why. If you give me some evidence, maybe I can address it. But you're just making claims without evidence.
All right.
You're saying he's doing these.
So you've moved away.
Do you want to give me some numbers?
To be clear, you are now actually addressing the fact that Trump is selling this Venezuelan oil. You're just doubting me.
I don't know. I'm open to your argument, but you're just making claims. You're not giving evidence. I can say Venezuela oil tastes like chocolate. You know what I'm saying? But without any evidence, why would you believe me?
All right, hold on. I just Googled Trump selling Venezuela. The autofill added a detail I didn't want. I don't want to talk about China. I just want to talk about Trump selling Venezuelan oil. All right, here we go. CNBC, Venezuelan oil sales top 1 billion. Funds won't go to Qatar. Trump administration deposited the initial $500 million of Venezuelan oil sales in a U.S.-controlled account in Qatar, offshoring the money. For what reason?
I mean, you can read a nefarious intent into anything anyone does.
Yes, that's what we're doing. I'm describing the things that he's done. I'm suggesting that the intent is nefarious, and I'm asking for you to defend him, and you're failing.
I have no idea. I mean, come on, man. You really think that's a fair burden to put on someone? How the hell would I know? You're talking to someone on TikTok. Am I Trump's personal banker? I have no idea.
I don't know, dude. You called in to talk about this shit, and
you're the one that brought up the money. I didn't bring up the money. I was literally talking about
and then you
how we need to escalate.
So I Googled it and found proof quickly.
And now we're talking about why I think he put money in a Kuwaiti bank based on Venezuela. We're a little far off the topic of Iran now.
No, we're right on the topic of Iran because he is profiting from his war in Iran by selling Venezuelan oil on a global market that is inflated because of the war in Iran. So I don't know if your brain is just not capable of handling more than 3 words at a time.
You're moving the goalposts.
I've been trying to get you to answer to why Trump is doing this at all, and you're just asking me all these questions. Like why is it okay for the president to do this? That's the topic.
Well, I mean, obviously, if you believe the reporting, and of course you cannot believe the reporting of the New York Times. I sometimes don't, but apparently there was a meeting.
Chicken dust. You're getting muted for spamming. Like I don't even mind you asking that question in the chat. I just quit it with the spam. Sorry, caller. What's up?
So, if you believe the New York Times, there was some meeting with Netanyahu and the head of Israeli intelligence.
Trump is selling Venezuelan oil for greater profits because of the Iran war. Correct? He's making more money on the Venezuelan oil than he would have if he hadn't started the war in Iran, correct? True or false?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you.
Oh, well, I haven't seen any reporting to that effect. Would it surprise me? Probably not.
Okay, let's slow this down then. Trump is selling Venezuelan oil, true or false?
I don't know.
Are you not following the news? We swooped into Venezuela, captured their leader. Trump declared that we controlled their oil industry and then negotiated with the remaining regime in Venezuela and said that there would be greater military action if we didn't take control of Venezuela. We literally captured some of their boats in the Caribbean. This was a major news story a few months ago. Like, you're just not fucking paying attention to the thing you called in to talk about.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know everything about everything.
Okay, so I'm telling you that you can go research what happened in Venezuela, and what happened in Venezuela is that we captured the president. We said to the vice president, who then became the president, that if they don't give us control of their yes, we said to her, if you don't give us control of your oil, we're going to keep invading your country. She folded and said, fine, take the oil. Now we have the oil, and he's selling it on the global market. That's what's fucking happening. And I don't feel like the burden is always on me. Kick or keep in the chat. I'm sorry, this is going nowhere. I'm getting a lot of kicks. Zookies, you only get 1 vote. Quit spamming kick. One warning you get. Kick. Let's see if we can get a single keep for you. Kick. Bye. Kick. Over guest head. Yeah, he's not listening. Okay, again, dude, and I will just tell you, Romo, before I kick you, I'm willing to have the conversation. You asked for proof. I immediately pulled it up, and then you moved on to something else. Dude, you just got to own the fact that you're wrong about stuff sometimes. The conversation's not going to work.
I have no problem admitting I'm wrong. Trust me, I have no problem.
I'm gonna let that be his final word. el.chico.tech.edu. All right. He's gonna come tell me that the Southern Poverty Law Center was in fact funding terrorism. We're gonna let him do it because there's nobody else in the queue, and then we'll probably kick him for the day. But we'll give him a chance. Remind me, el.chico.tech.edu, how old you are. After you connect, remind me how old you are.
All right, hold on. Oh, thanks.
I don't
know if that's gonna work.
Remind me how old you are.
40.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Are you here to talk about the Southern Poverty Law Center again?
No. It's because someone just came in. No. I mean, that's still kind of developing. I mean,
we'll see I think that my description was so clear on how it's bullshit to say that they were doing anything wrong earlier in the live that you're afraid to talk to me about it. That's my assessment on that topic. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, just pointing out your double standard. It's funny how you're like, oh, let's give them the benefit of the doubt and figure it out and see.
I'm not saying give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm saying that what they're accused of doing is a thing that it makes sense for them to do.
Why?
There's no doubt. We don't need to doubt it. It's correct what they're being accused of what they were doing. I'm just saying that they are supposed to do that. I'm okay with what they did. I don't think it's illegal.
Is it? No, it's pretty illegal. It's ethically illegal for them to sponsor. Give money to radical.
Do you think that it is wrong or illegal for police departments to support informants who catch mobsters and gangsters?
Yeah, it is. It is infringing on the Fourth Amendment right.
So you don't believe in like the use of confidential informants at all?
I mean, we do it, but it's wrong.
Okay,
because it's entrapment.
So should the FBI indict every law enforcement agency that does that? Because the FBI indicted the Southern Poverty Law Center for giving money to informants. So should we?
Yeah, but they're not. But they're not a law enforcement function.
So should we? So that's maybe the difference. But what you just said yourself, that it's immoral and should be illegal for law enforcement agencies to do it. Do you think that we should change the law and go after law enforcement agencies because they're doing it to a much larger degree than the Southern Poverty Law Center? If you're concerned about that immoral and should be illegal behavior, we should be going after the law enforcement agencies because they're doing.
Well, I mean, there is a court system, and they look into the evidence and look like, oh, okay, hey, you kind of stepped over boundaries and you did infringe on individual civil rights. So guess what? The court, the case is closed because you guys messed up. And that's why we have a legal system.
I don't think you answered my question. What do you want to talk about?
That answered your question in black and white. What are you talking about?
I don't think that your thinking is as black and white as you think it is. But what's the other topic you wanted to bring up? We talked about this for an hour the other day. I don't want to keep on. I was actually right. Like I wasn't working with much information when we talked the other day, but I've gone and researched and I was like, my assumption was exactly right. And we've talked about it.
But I mean, okay, all right. So they you talking hypotheticals. They do the court and then they do the trial and it comes out that yes, they were supporting radical.
Whatever that chime is, please turn that off because it's very loud.
That was your thing. I don't know what. Someone just gave you a flower or something. You're on speaker.
Oh, maybe that's Match Star. Maybe it's just one I didn't notice. Sorry if that was me. I apologize.
Nah, you're good.
Okay, but what I'm.
Oh, so going back to Venezuela. Dude, it was a strategic game plan, man. You got to think about, Trump. What he's trying to do is actually unite the Americas.
That was my GIF goal getting made. Sorry for the interruption again, but yeah, the GIF goal thing is very broken on my live thing. I'm trying to get like a firmware update or something that's going to fix this because it just keeps not showing me the correct information, which is why I thought that chime was coming from the caller instead of mine thing because I'm not seeing anything on my screen that suggests that. Now it's opening. There we go, but it still says it's not met. Now it says it's met. Anyway, okay, so you want to talk about Venezuela. We can talk about Venezuela. Sorry for the further interruption.
No, you're good. So I mean, do you not believe that in our region of the world, we need to be united within our counterparts, our neighbors, in order to be a more prosperous nation and country?
I recognize the value that things like Venezuelan oil or the land owned by Denmark, which is Greenland or whatever, these are all things that are very valuable to America, 100%. It simply isn't our right to invade a sovereign nation and take them, though. That is war of conquest, and it's not something that we should be doing in the 21st century.
Well, I mean, didn't we have warrants out for Maduro for drug trafficking since he was
the same week that we captured Maduro and watch your language because TikTok does not like discussion of DR.
Yeah, I learned the hard way the other day.
Just be careful. Just be careful with that. The very same week that we captured Maduro for DRUG crimes, Trump pardoned the Honduran president for similar.
You know why?
Please,
you know why?
Please tell me why.
Because Because he was an informant.
So are informants okay or not?
Well, there you go. Was it a good thing or was it a bad thing? Is there a better outcome for that informant to be able to say, hey, you know what? Here's a major drug issue. This is kind of like the single point of failure. If you get hit, you kind of disrupt the.
So you're gonna say informants are okay when the president pardons them, but you're gonna say informants are bad when you harass me for 2 days about the Southern Poverty Law Center funding informants at extremist groups.
I wasn't harassing. I was just letting you know what it was about.
That's not the important part of what I said. Please answer the question.
What was your question? Because you put nuances in there, and you're like, okay, you can't defeat.
It's not nuanced. You're excusing that Trump pardoned the Honduran president in the same week that he captured the Venezuelan president for the same types of crimes, and you're saying that it's because he was an informant after spending literally multiple days trying to get me to address the fact that the Southern Poverty Law Center is guilty of giving money to extremists because they paid informants to help them investigate the Ku Klux Klan and shit like that. So square that for me.
So if one informant saves a life, kind of same the rhetoric you used with me yesterday in regards to feeding children, you wouldn't sacrifice that one individual to save millions of lives that are in drugs and contribute to the issue of homelessness and hunger and all this stuff.
Diava's in the chat, by the way. Diava is allowed to use all caps because she's a mod. She's just getting my attention. I will ask him for proof that the Honduran president was an informant, but after he explains to me, which you did not just do, why it is okay for that person to be an informant, but not the people who work for the Southern Poverty Law Center. Why is it okay in this instance that supports your argument, but not okay in this instance?
Because the Southern Poverty Law Center doesn't have any right to do any type of investigation.
But the Honduran president does?
That's at a national level. That's a strategic level. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's at a strategic level. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like neither of these groups are law enforcement in America.
Who are you talking? Are you talking about a country taking over an individual who has a warrant and an informant was used in order to get information in order to get him? Like what are you talking about? That's a strategical level.
It's a strategical level. Is that your answer to your hypocrisy on why you're okay with the Honduran president being...
You understand when I say a strategical level, meaning like...
No, when you say it's a strategical level, I don't fucking understand what you mean, because I would actually argue that the Southern Poverty Law Center is operating on a pretty fucking strategical level when they install informants in hate groups like the Ku Klux Klan to get them caught for their crimes. That's pretty strategic. I think pardoning the Honduran president the same week that you captured the Venezuelan president for the same thing is not strategic, and I'm asking you to explain that.
I just did explain it to you.
Chad, did he explain it sufficiently? Yes or no?
Well, of course they're going to say no. They're just a bunch of yous listening to you. It's a bunch of yous just looking at you.
If they said yes, okay, if they were sufficiently convinced that you'd made a point, they'd say yes because they'd want the show to move on. But they're saying no. Let's see, how many yeses we got? I'll read them out. We got no, yes, no, 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 nope, yes, nope, no, hell no, no, yes, and he is right. Who was also the person who said yes at the top, by the way. Oh, all of the yeses are the same person. Dazin, you're getting muted for voting multiple times.
Oh, leave him alone. Come on.
No, it's voter fraud. I'm muting him for voter fraud. You're against voter fraud, right? You're against voter fraud, right?
No. I don't. Is this deciding something very important? I don't think so. What's up, bud?
I don't. Yeah, it's like obvious that you don't think that this stuff is important. So Dazens has been muted for voter fraud in my chat because he was defrauding the rest of the chat of their votes by voting multiple times. We don't allow that.
No, but I mean, you gotta. Okay, so Maduro had a warrant out for his arrest for years and years and years. Correct? You understand?
Maduro's a bad dude. Yeah.
Okay. So are you for him being captured and seizing the amount of drugs coming into the country?
I'm not for
which
that.
We're funding terrorist organizations.
Well, okay, I can
FTOs.
Stop. I can say specific
FTOs.
Watch the language. Watch the language regarding DRUGs. But what I will say is that the amount of DRUGs coming into the United States, and the amount of money flowing, the amount of that stuff is not of consequence. If you look at South American countries and the amount of money flow through these narco groups and through DRUG trade, Venezuela doesn't rank. The reason we went after Venezuela is because they have most of the world's oil.
Okay. I'll just give you a little bit of my background. I used to be in the military, so kind of give you a aspect of
Dude, you're actually such a dumb fuck that I'm not gonna thank you your service. Thank you for your service. I'm gonna say that it's probably bad that you served.
So what was going on is there's drug trafficking coming up from Central America and the Caribbean.
Yeah,
they were funneling drugs,
right? But Venezuela
up to the
is
United
not
States,
a sensible
and then that
target.
money. All right, let me finish. And that money from Venezuela and all Colombia and Bolivia and then all those other countries were funneling up this way. Trump put a nip on that, and then it made other countries who were funneling drugs to us were like, oh man, he's not fucking around. Maybe we should slow down and stop, because this guy, we cannot predict his actions. And that's really good for the United States.
No, it isn't.
Guess what?
No, it's
not.
Why? What do you?
So
you need to. You just said a lot of stuff that you
drugs
need.
Is not a,
no, dude,
stopping drugs is not good.
I'm not saying that. Stop. Watch the language, dude. Again, I'm gonna have to kick you again if you say the word drug. Like TikTok's kind of squirrely on that word. The specific names of drugs we can't say at all. I'll have to kick you immediately. But again, please. Just
oh
watch
my
it with
god,
that
really?
one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't. I thought you just said don't say the actual.
Yeah.
Material.
Okay. So now you know that's why I kept spelling it. You know, I wasn't doing that for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not.
Why do you keep on spelling it?
Yeah.
I speak freely, man. So I don't even care.
Why might the host spell a word instead of saying it out loud? Use your freaking brain, dude. My God. But I'm not. Again, you can't just
freedom
say
of speech. You know what I mean?
No, we don't have. We're on TikTok. We don't have freedom of speech. We have to obey their rules.
The Chinese rules. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have freedom of speech on here, so I'm trying to have our conversation not be deplatformed by you making a dumb mistake. So I'm just trying to get you to keep doing that. Again, you're accusing me of not wanting to enforce DRUG laws, when in reality, all I'm saying is that we shouldn't just invade a country and capture a person because we have a warrant against them. I want to ask you this question. Should we invade every single country that contains a person we have a warrant on?
Then what's the purpose of having warrants out for them then?
So that if they ever set foot on American jurisdiction, they can immediately be arrested, and having that policy in place prevents such people from setting foot on American soil.
I mean, okay.
Yeah. So the question again, so we have lots of arrest warrants for lots of people everywhere in the world. Should we invade all of those countries to go get those people?
I mean, if we have a warrant out for their arrest, and I mean, they're HVT, and it's very important for them to be out of the game, yeah.
Okay, so you want us to start World War III in order to handle a handful of arrest warrants?
World War III?
Yeah, we need to invade Russia. There's some people we have arrest warrants for there.
I mean, we are kind of already in World War III. We already have Chinese.
But you're saying that we should really escalate. We should invade dozens of countries to catch all the people that we have arrest warrants for who are being kept in other countries that we don't have extradition treaties.
Well, it's either we go to them or they come to us. Which one you prefer? You want the Chinese or, bad influencers here?
Should we invade North Korea? They're up to no good. They have nukes.
Yeah, they do have nukes. Wow. I'm surprised they haven't even used one, huh?
Yeah. I think they know it'd be bad for them. We have this mutually assured destruction thing that stops them from using the nukes.
And guess what? Iran is not so safe to say that they wouldn't use a nuclear weapon.
Okay,
correct?
You demonstrated you're not going to answer any of that, so I'm actually going to take us back to something that got said earlier, and Diava in the chat has reminded me. What is your proof that the Honduran president was an informant?
He's just an informant. I mean, why would you?
Trust me, bro. Is that your evidence?
Why would
like one?
Why would Trump pardon him to begin with?
Because he's fucking corrupt, dude. You can't just invent a fact that he was. You made it up. You yourself started that rumor. You didn't even hear that bullshit somewhere else.
Listen. So why did that individual have criminal prosecutions against them? It was in regards to what? What was it?
The Honduran president?
DRUG.
About 400 tons of snow.
Okay. Yeah.
Over the course
Where do you think he got it from? Who do you think he got it from?
Not Venezuela. They don't make that much snow.
Oh no.
No.
Oh, how do you know how much they make? You're out in the production plants. You're out there in the fields.
How do you? Wait. I can ask you the same question because I do have sources for this, by the way. But the question is then for you: how do you know? You made up that he's an informant. You made up that the snow came from Venezuela. You're just making up details that make you feel right in this, and that's not what I fucking do on here. Which is why sometimes I get asked a question and I say I don't know. I have to Google it because I don't make shit up to sound right, dude. Like what the fuck are you doing?
I mean, not everything is open to the public, right?
Yeah, but you understand that.
Understand that. We're clarifying that. Not everything's open to the public. Yes or no?
I'm talking to you.
Yes or no?
Not everything is known to the public. Correct.
Okay,
why do you know it?
Okay.
How do you know it? How do you know it?
How do I know it? Because I know how to connect dots, and that was my job.
What was your job?
Connecting the dots. That's pretty much it.
So you
it's analysis. You understand how to do analysis?
I do understand how to do analysis. I'm arguing that you don't. You made up the fact that he must be an informant. That's harebrained, dude. That's ridiculous.
So what would be another reason why we will pardon him?
Some kind of fucking corruption. He pardons all sorts of criminals. He pardoned 1,000 people who tried to overthrow the government by invading the Capitol and stopping the president from being put in place. Like, he does, like, if we want to talk about Trump's pardons, he pardons all sorts of people. We could just go down the list and try to get you to make up a reason why for each of them.
Oh, wait, you're talking about the individuals like the J6 who were entrapped by the FBI because they had informants? The informants that you're against?
Dude. You gotta join it. You gotta join him. You gotta join him.
Oh, gotcha.
How? I'm literally just saying you're doing mental gymnastics.
Gotcha.
You're saying, how? What's the gotcha? Explain it to me. When I get a gotcha, I explain it to the audience. I say, here's what they said, here's what I said, here's what I said. That's a gotcha. What's the gotcha?
You're against informants, yet
I'm not. I'm for informants. I've been arguing for informants the entire life.
Also, you're for informants?
Yes.
Illegal informants?
No.
So a nonprofit organization is allowed to do investigatory legal practice and go after people and pay money to radical.
Yeah, it's been known that they've been doing that for decades. I wonder why they're only being going on after now. But you're sidestepping the point. You still haven't proven that the Honduran president was an informant. You still haven't proven that the snow came from Venezuela, and you're sidestepping the fact that Trump frequently pardons people who shouldn't have been pardoned. Again, you're making up conspiracy theories about January 6th to excuse him.
Biden pardoned his own son.
Yeah, so, because Trump has been going after his family, so he did preemptively pardon his son after saying he wouldn't. Yeah, that's not as big a deal as Trump pardoning 1,000 people who tried to overthrow the government.
But the government wasn't going after Trump's family, were they?
We're talking about the people that Trump has pardoned. It is an enormous list of criminals, insurrectionists, DRUG dealers, like fraudsters, people who've defrauded the American people of their money through businesses and tax fraud.
He's pardoning black people who had DRUG crimes. Is that wrong?
I'm talking about, you just brought up something else, so I'm going to ask you again.
No, it's the same thing. He pardoned black people who dealed and gave them a second chance. Is that wrong?
Are you talking about low-level offenders, like people who were like dealing trees?
An offender is an offender.
No,
an offender is an offender.
No, a rapist.
There's no such thing as a low level. High level,
a rapist and a jaywalker are the same type of criminal? They're both offenders.
Oh yeah. So what kind of? So a rapist? What kind of level of crime is that? Is that a federal crime?
You just said that there are no levels. Every criminal is a criminal.
Oh, yeah, a criminal is a criminal. Yeah.
Yeah. So a jaywalker and a rapist, execute them all, right?
Well, is jaywalking a crime or is it an infraction?
It's a crime. It's a misdemeanor.
No, it's an infraction. It's an infraction.
Okay, felony speeding is a felony. Is murder is a felony. Yeah. Are they equal crimes?
Yeah, because you could kill somebody by speeding. Can you not?
Can I remind you that the president has been convicted of 34 felonies?
Oh, interesting. On what? In regards to what?
Fraud.
What was that we talked about? Fraud? Oh, so isn't the Poverty Law Center committing fraud by not letting their donors know about...
Well, that's currently being litigated, but the president is a convicted fraudster. He has 34 felony counts. So
it's on appeal? It's on appeal anyway. So I mean,
everything that happens to Trump gets appealed. It's going to get thrown out. He was
and it gets overturned. You know why? Because his civil rights. He has civil rights, just like you and I. You know that, right?
Well, I think that he has civil rights. I don't think that you or I do anymore.
Why? You're talking freely about him and making him look bad. I mean, you're still free behind the mic, public forum.
Yeah. Just because Jeffrey Dahmer didn't murder you, I guess that means he's not a murderer, huh?
What do you mean? Just because Jeffrey Dahmer didn't
you gave a counterexample. You gave examples of things that Trump could have done that would have been a violation of my rights that he didn't do. That doesn't mean he's not violating my rights. I didn't say he was violating all of my rights. I didn't say that everything I do that involves rights he's stopping me from doing. It's bad argumentation.
So you're a free person. You're freely doing what you can do.
No, because there are things I try to freely do that his government are stopping me from doing. Like when I get like when I get assaulted by federal agents for exercising my First Amendment right here in Minneapolis. That has happened quite a lot this calendar year.
Why'd you get assaulted?
For standing on the sidewalk and yelling.
For yelling?
Yeah, for yelling.
And did they tell you to move along or go, or were you on the street or were you on the sidewalk?
Sidewalk. They did tell me to move along. I told them no because I have the right not to.
And they said, "Oh, you bigot," and they hit you.
Well, no, they threw tear gas canisters at me.
Oh, because they told you to leave, right?
Well, why did they tell me to leave? That's a violation of my rights. I'm allowed to stand on the sidewalk.
Yeah, you just not in front of their sidewalk. You could stand over there on that other sidewalk.
This was in my neighborhood. I'm not even talking about at the Whipple building. I'm talking about in my neighborhood.
So you're in a private neighborhood while they're conducting
my neighborhood where I live.
Yeah. So what were they doing in your neighborhood?
Fucking tear gassing people for no reason. By the way, I'm specifically talking about the Mueller Park incident.
I don't think so. I don't know what that happened. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, because you're not educated on the civil rights violations that are happening in Minnesota, and even if you are, you probably don't give a shit. But
Minnesota? Oh my God. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it couldn't be.
I think I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Minneapolis, dude. I was pretty involved in Metro Surge. I was one of the people who got a lot of the footage that you saw of ICE agents raiding neighborhoods. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, man, I'm glad, man. I was just like, man, when are we going to finally start deporting people? And Trump came along.
But the point is that they tear gassed me and my neighbors for standing on the sidewalk. That day, I had to wash tear gas out of an old lady's eyes. There's a video of me doing that on this TikTok account.
So what were you doing in order to get tear gas? I mean,
standing on the sidewalk and showing our displeasure with the agents invading our neighborhood.
Were they conducting operations?
They were just driving down the street throwing tear gas at people who were yelling at them. There's video of this.
Come on.
This is the Mueller Park incident. You can look it up, dude. There is footage of me washing tear gas out of an elderly woman's eyes that day because she lives in that neighborhood and walked out onto the street to see what the commotion was about and got fucking tear gassed for it.
I'll look at it, but it sounds like you guys were just disrupting operations and they told you guys, hey, we're doing something.
I'm not surprised you're doing this because it's what you've been doing the entire call, but you are just making up details that make you right that you have no evidence for when I have lots of video evidence of what I'm talking about.
I mean, okay. So are you currently submitting a lawsuit against the
Yes, my footage from the Mueller Park incident is going to be used by the ACLU to get Gregory Bovino charged for what he fucking did that day. We're working on it.
Okay. Well, good luck to you. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but yeah, good luck.
Yeah, you don't think it's going to go anywhere because you've assumed that everything I'm saying is bullshit completely baselessly. I washed tear gas out of an old lady's eyes. Does that hurt your feelings to learn that?
Not really.
You are a piece of fucking garbage, dude. I'm going to kick you. Why? I'm sure you'll be talking to me again. But that guy, if it doesn't pull on your heartstrings to learn that I washed tear gas out of a 65-year-old woman's eyes, I actually know how old she is because she messaged me on TikTok after the fact and said that she was okay with me posting it, which made me feel way better because I felt very conflicted about posting that private moment that I had with her. But the fact that guy is not hurt by the fact that I had to wash tear gas out of an old lady's eyes. Like, even if she was in the wrong, that imagery should just hurt, but she wasn't. She was walking down the street in her neighborhood. Oh, a private neighborhood. No, a public neighborhood. The one I live in. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm so sick of this type of mental gymnastics. Emotional damage. Yeah, dude, you're getting muted, and you are really itching for a block because that guy just makes me angry. I guess I do crash out a little harder when people like come after me about the things that have happened to me. We're gonna talk to Tom West 168, El Predictor. I do see you in the chat, but you're in the queue, but you are second in line, so please hang on. But we're gonna talk to Tom West 168. And, oh, God, Tom, tell me how old you are before I forget to ask. Tom, still connecting. This isn't his fault. His mic's not even on yet. Maybe we're going to end up talking to El Predictor. We'll see. But yeah, That was the most like trust me bro conversation I've ever had. That guy didn't have any evidence other than trust me bro, the Honduran president was an informant. That's okay. It's not okay when the Southern Poverty Law Center does it, but apparently it's okay when the Honduran president does it, even though he's not in law enforcement, and he has foreign interests at heart instead of local interests, which the Southern Poverty Law Center does. Nonsense. Oh my God, Tom, I'm going to have to disconnect you because you're taking way too long to connect. So let's go. Yeah, there we go. Here's my disconnect button. We're going to talk to El Predictor. Tom, please try to get back in the queue. That seemed to have just been a tech issue. I'll talk to you next. But El Predictor, tell me how old you are.
I'm 26.
Do you support Trump?
Yeah, of course.
Of course is not the right thing to say about that. Why would you do that? Most people don't because they recognize what a reprehensible character he is.
Well, I'm not most people. It's great to be your own person.
I agree. Why do you support Trump?
Yeah. Many reasons. We could stick with what you were just talking about, ICE. I love the Dignity Act. I love what I just did with taxes recently. It was amazing. And what else? Parts of the big, beautiful bill that hopefully comes soon, like the sports tax credit for children, and also what he has done with women. With women's sports, and also I would say
you like what he's done with women's sports?
Yeah.
Name 3 female athletes.
Clarissa Shields. Let's go with Jessica Paluga, and let's go with Caitlin Clark, who introduced me to WNBA.
Hey, dude, I'll give you the W on that one. You were the first person ever to pass that test after bringing up women's sports. W guessed. Okay. You brought up that you're okay with what Trump is doing with ICE, so you're okay with the civil rights violations that have happened in Minnesota and the fact that he's like supporting that?
No, that one I call him out on. I'm not saying he's perfect on that, and if anything, I like that he's taking accountability, especially as a Latino voter.
Wait, guys,
Gregory Bovino.
Chat, breaking news. Trump has taken accountability for something. I need a source. I would love to see that.
Yeah, like I was saying, especially as a Latino voter, I was calling him out.
On Trump, you said Trump takes accountability for his mistakes with ICE. I need a source for that.
Yeah, just look up firing Gregory Bovino firing Kristi Noem.
Yeah. So, okay, this is from the fascism playbook. He didn't take accountability for what he did. He didn't take accountability for the fact that he supported that. He didn't take accountability for the fact that he replaced both those people that are with people that are worse from them. You fell for a trick in the fascism playbook, which is to install people you don't fucking care about to be responsible for the shit that you support. And when the public gets very, very mad at him because Oskar and his buddies in Minnesota make him look bad on the internet, you fire those people, replace them with somebody worse, and trick dumb fucks like yourself to call in and say that he did a good thing. That's not fucking accountability. You don't know what accountability is.
Well, that's rude to call me a dumb fuck. I don't know. I think the last guest got you like this.
Yeah, I'm a little amped up, and you picked up where he left off. So no, that's not accountability. That's
I mean, I wish you had this passion when Obama put kids in cages, and the Democrats love ICE even more.
But the Democrats, but Obama, but Biden.
I mean, I just wish you had your passion on both sides. I wish you could call the Democrats dumb fucks, you know?
Yeah, the Democrats are dumb fucks. We've been biffing it in this country for decades. Anyway, we're talking about Trump.
Say it again. Say that one more time. Because the viewers need to listen to you. Yeah, the Democrats are dumb fucks.
My viewers know my opinions on this. They know I'm not some brainwashed sheep that thinks that everything that the Democrats do is good. They know I'm critical of Biden. They know I'm critical of Obama. You don't seem to, even though you're accusing me of things that I did 10 years ago.
I just said I called out Trump. A fascist doesn't get told what to do. The way you just described Trump, yeah, it's embarrassing that he had to fire these people and basically be told what to do.
You're falling for it, dude. It's like exactly the strategy.
What do you mean falling for it? Did Kristi Noem not get demoted and fired?
She belongs in prison. I don't care that she was fired.
Many people belong in prison.
Yeah, Trump pardons those people. We were talking about that too.
I'm not talking about Cosby. Hillary, I mean, what do you want to do here? Like... if you want to start saying if you want to start saying Kristi Noem deserves to be in jail, they all deserve to be in jail. What is this now?
I think they all do. Like his entire administration, they're all traitors. They're all committing treason. They're all disobeying the Constitution. Every one of them belongs in prison, especially Trump.
I'll just add more to that. I think I live in Charlotte, Mid Hill, North Carolina. He listened to the city of Charlotte and he shut down Operation Charlotte's Web, which meant removal of ICE agents. There's still some here, but the operation was shut down. And also he pulled away a lot of agents from Minnesota, if I don't remember.
Yeah, dude. And Metro Surge ended here because it was wildly unpopular. Again, thanks to literally like me and my friends, like I worked on that effort to make them look bad, and it worked, and they left. And now Trump's secret police are operating in greater secret because they realize doing it, what's the shock and awe style in broad daylight didn't actually look good, because I get to sit here on my live and talk about the fact that I had to wash fucking tear gas out of an old lady's eyes because of Gregory Bavino. That makes them look bad. So now the secret police are being more secretive, and it's harder to see what they're doing. You're not making a good case for any of this, dude. What's your point?
Yes, I am. Apart from the Snickers, what will satisfy you? Like, I feel like nothing will satisfy you with what this guy's doing. Apart from the Snickers, what will satisfy you? Because this is like, I feel like anything Trump does wouldn't satisfy you.
These people need to go to prison. I'm not interested in their apologies. I'm not interested in people getting fired.
Okay, great.
I'm interested.
What's
in
your end goal with ICE, though? But you sound like a grifter, bro. Because what's your end goal with ICE? They get arrested. These people you're obsessed with. Okay, cool. What's up? What's next? You still want to keep ICE?
I think we should abolish ICE. I think we should handle immigration very differently. I think that ICE has operated in a way that's like constitutional and legal for most of its history.
Beautiful.
It is fairly recent history. It's only been about 25 years that we've had ICE.
No, I agree with you.
So what I'm saying,
and I think they were created for something that happened in September 2001, right? So I think it's ridiculous that it's been used for only Latinos. But hear me out. I think I'm not wrong with my prediction. So I think the Democrats are going to win the midterms.
I just always have to point it out because
I think the next president is going to be a Democrat.
We're going to take a brief moment.
Do you think you're going to abolish ICE?
We'll talk about that in just a second. I just always like to point it out because you identified yourself as Latino, so I just want to make sure that my accusation against you is formally levied that you are a fucking race traitor. We can move on if you want.
You didn't call them the Latinos that when they put kids in cages with Obama.
I'm calling you that right now. You're a fucking race traitor.
But you should have called me that when I was a Democrat. Why didn't you?
I met you about, 6 minutes ago. How was I supposed to do that?
Do you call Democrats, Latinos who vote Democrats, race traitors?
No, dude. Again, we're like...
Why?
Because
Democrats have the record for the most deportations against white people.
And I'm trying to answer why, which is that Trump is doing some things that are uniquely unconstitutional, uniquely illegal, uniquely horrible. You can point out some bad things that past presidents have done, and a lot of the time I will agree with you, as I pointed out earlier. What I'm saying is that if you support Trump's immigration efforts and the way that he's going about it, you are a fucking race traitor.
Yeah, and I think you're a hypocrite if you don't see both sides, that the Democrats do exactly the same thing, or if worse. For example, I don't think Trump's going to beat Obama's record.
Show me an example of an old lady getting tear gassed because of Obama or Biden's immigration efforts, and then we can talk.
Yeah, the old ladies didn't care about that back then. No one cared about ICE back then. I feel like you weren't protesting ICE back then. You know what I mean? You can lie right now and say you were. I was a kid. I was in the protest. I was protesting the kids in cages.
Okay, stop.
Maybe if they look white like you, you would be in the streets. You were with your family.
Like SUVs full of like commandoed out Timu uniform bullshit army guys into neighborhoods armed with tear gas and pepper ball guns and stuff like that to go fuck with people who were upset about what they were doing. And there weren't people upset about what they were doing because they weren't violating people's constitutional liberties. So yes, this is a unique new situation, which is why you didn't see people like me as upset at Obama or Biden, which is why you didn't see people like me washing tear gas out of the eyes of old ladies. What he's doing.
Yeah, you guys weren't protesting the cages. It took my people to do it. If you look up any sources of the protests against cages, it wasn't any white people who were there.
Stop talking about Obama. We're talking about what Trump is doing.
Because you should hear the Latinos' trauma. Like you bring up you washing off the grandma. Imagine, let me bring up my trauma, right? If you're going to trauma dump, let me trauma dump about the Latinos.
The Latinos in the chat are very, very mad.
48% voted for a man who said horrible things about us.
Shut up. Shut your little mouth. The Latinos in the chat are very, very upset.
You can have a fake power trip.
I didn't mute you. My moderator muted you. I had it, Diava.
Okay.
I know I'm losing my temper, but it's okay because he's such a piece of garbage that I don't feel bad for losing my temper.
Let's go. Let's make it entertaining. Let's go.
Yeah, dude, I'm calling you a race traitor. The Latinos in the chat are calling you a race traitor for referring to Latinos as your people. And by the way, people did protest the kids in cages every time it has ever come up. You're wrong about that, and you're making accusations about me when you haven't known me for longer than 8 minutes. I don't think you followed my content. If you had, you wouldn't have accused me of being like non-critical of Biden and Obama, which I am. But what I'm saying is that Trump is committing unique civil rights violations that Obama was able to deport a lot of people without doing, and that's why we're seeing the protests. And then the protests are constant. Oh yeah, I got a harassment and bullying flag. Was that for me or for the guest? I don't know. I'm just
probably for you.
Yeah, that's possible. I am just gonna kick you because
stop crashing out.
I don't think the conversation is productive. Is there anything you'd like to say to your Latino friends before you go?
Yeah, do you think the Democrats are going to abolish ICE in 2028 because they're going to win the election?
Anything else?
Straight up. No answer?
No, I'm not
Keep being a Jew. Keep being a Jew then. You can
Yeah, calling me a Jew. Great. Okay. Oh my God. Should we talk to el.chico.tech.edu again? Probably not. I'm just gonna give him like 30 seconds to tell me why he's in the queue again, dude. What do you want, El.Chico Tech? Like what are you gonna tell me? I'm gonna ask him if he has evidence that the Honduran president was an informant. Oh my God, the chat's saying no. The chat's revolting, and somebody else has shown up. So no, we're not going to talk to El.Chico Tech. He's gone. Don't worry. We're going to talk to Deport Trump to Israel. Is this a friendly? We'll see. How old are you?
Hello, Oscar. I'm 26. I was just trying to come on really quick just to say big fan of your work. Breath of fresh air in the TikTok space. Very well needed for especially nowadays. A lot of people are going off, haywire. I don't know. I think with everything going on, people are starting to lose certain plots for sure. And you're doing insane service for the community, not just TikTok community, but like the world community. So very proud to see people like this. So thank you.
I appreciate it.
Been a long time supporter though.
I appreciate that, man. I'm trying to do my best. Thanks for coming up. Yeah, it's always nice to get reminded that I'm doing something people appreciate after 90 minutes of talking to nincompoops. Because man, I don't have the patience today. It's fun that I get to have days where I'm like hyper brick wall and just like really, really careful. Today's not one of those days. I had too much fun last night. I did not sleep enough. I've not had breakfast. You get snappy Oscar when that's the case, and today it's snappy Oscar. But I don't have anybody in the queue. Diava can talk up if she can hop up if she wants to chat a little bit. We are under restriction for something like 9 more minutes, which, I really like consider it an L when I get a restriction for accidentally saying the wrong word, either where I was supposed to use some Orwellian newspeak and I forgot to or something like that. But when I get a harassment and bullying flag for harassing or bullying somebody who says the sort of things that my callers have said today, I'm just not sorry. Like, I'm bummed that I get a restriction on the live and that I'm not going to get new viewers for the next few minutes. So we're going to wither down. We're already down 20 viewers from when the 160 we started at. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep bullying them. That's a big part of the job. Diava, how's your Saturday going? Friday, how's your Friday going?
Friday, yeah. Just so you know, I'm the same way with bullying and harassing. If I feel like I deserved it, I won't. I don't restart. I'm just like, okay, I'll take it. I deserve it.
Take the L on that one. It was pretty mean. Dude, El.Chico.tech.edu
it's the inhumane fucks. The inhumane people are what get me and what makes me crash the fuck out every time. I can't stand how inhumane some of these people are and how they talk about other people and how they're just like, I don't care about, they lose their SNAP benefits. Too bad. Tough shit. Go work. And it's just so mean.
I think you noted it in the chat that the gotcha of the day was that like this guy immediately starts defending the Honduran president because he's an informant. When we had just had like a long conversation about how it's not okay that the Southern Poverty Law, to have informants. It's absolutely insane. And then he says, I'm talking to El.Chico, who's in the queue listening right now. And then he goes on to say that it's because the Southern Poverty Law Center isn't law enforcement. And I'm like, but the fucking Honduran president is? Like, having that is a national security risk. That's crazy.
If I actually wanted to say something specifically about that.
Please do.
What the Southern Poverty Law Center has been doing, getting white supremacy groups and stuff like that, is they have informants that are going in and getting the information about the extremism and gathering data and evidence of this white supremacy extremism to turn over to fucking law enforcement.
Yeah, they were cooperating with law enforcement the entire time. Yeah.
Like, that's the whole point, is turning it over to law enforcement because they have to have evidence. You can't just say this is a hate group or this is what they're doing. You have to provide proof. And that's what the Southern Poverty Law Center is doing, is gathering the proof for law enforcement
to do their investigations. And then furthermore, I saw it in the chat and I've seen it in some of the online discussion that I've reviewed in the last 24 hours since this topic came up to me, which is that immediately once you say all this, then they immediately go to say, well, they're entrapping them. And it's like, well, okay.
That's not entrapment.
Well, I mean, an informant could do a thing that would be entrapment, where could be argued for it, but you're just, again, it's what the callers have been doing all day today, which is just making up details that make them right. If you're going to say that that they were entrapping them or doing bad practices as an informant, you've now moved the goalposts to say, okay, fine, informants are allowed, but they were doing things that informants shouldn't do. It's like, well, that's a whole different argument. You're just moving the goalposts. And it's
I would suggest maybe like just looking up the definition of entrapment, because it's a very specific thing and a very specific charge.
I guess you have to be law enforcement for it to be entrapment, don't you?
Correct.
Yeah,
I believe that is true. That's why because you have to have some mechanism to be able to arrest them, or some mechanism to be able to enforce the entrapment or what you're trapping them for. And the Southern Poverty Law Center doesn't have the ability to arrest them. So they can't do anything with that information. They just have to turn it over to law enforcement. Come on.
All right, I'm going to mute you just for the background noise, Java, and then I'm going to
Sorry, I'm going inside. I had to take my dog out. I'm I'm going inside. I'll mute for a second.
No worries. And I'll say hello to Midwest Progressive. I think 25 minutes early after a pretty insane live, I've declared the Just Us Girls Hour, because I don't think I can do that again. el.chico.tech.edu. Get out of my queue. Goodbye, Midwest Progressive. How is your Friday going?
It's going good. I just got done mowing my lawn.
Lovely. Good to hear your voice. I feel like I haven't had you on the panel in a little while. You've been busy.
No, it's been a while. No, I just, with the entrapment specifically, it has to be where you induce somebody to commit a crime that they wouldn't have done otherwise.
Right.
So, and it has to be where there's an enforcement action that can be done. So a nonprofit, they can't do anything. So that definitely doesn't apply.
Yeah, and I would even like that's the legal explanation. I would even say that ethically, if we're just going to talk about what's right and wrong, it would still be wrong for a non-law enforcement informant to try to trick somebody into doing something bad. Like if the informants were going around and using that Southern Poverty Law Center money to trick people into coming to the Ku Klux Klan meetings with them, trying to indoctrinate people themselves, that would be, in my opinion, bad. That's not a good use of an informant's time. You should go to the meeting and try to catch the people who are already there. So that's the type of argument they might be making, even if it's not legally defensible as entrapment. But again, they are just making up details that
But
make...
that's not being argued, right?
Right. That's not the facts of the matter. That's not what's happening. And
that's not what's in the indictment either.
Yeah, the indictment is reflecting the decades of cooperation that the Southern Poverty Law Center has had with the FBI and local jurisdictions in catching these things. So again, the argument that out of the blue suddenly they're saying this is illegal, well, then there's a bunch of people who work for law enforcement agencies and for the FBI who are also in trouble because they supported it for fucking decades.
That is correct. And what this is just another typical. They don't like the Southern Poverty Law Center. Okay, they don't like anyone that's going to be opposing this regime. So we know that that's where it comes from. But just like everything else Trump has tried to do and all these other court cases or, these prosecutions are trying to do, it's likely to fall flat as well. Because the lawsuit against Jerome Powell was dropped this morning by Jeanine Pirro.
Oh, was it? Good.
Yes.
More weaponization against Trump's enemies, because we just yesterday we had a long conversation on this show about how, or maybe the day before, it all blends together, about how Jerome Powell has done a very good job of being nonpartisan in his role as chair of the Federal Reserve, a position to which he was appointed by Trump, who then forgot that he did that and blamed the person who appointed him, who was himself, which is a funny fucking gaffe. But yeah, they're investigating people like that, just anybody who goes against the economic grain with Trump, and it's just more weaponization of Trump's control over the legal system. It's terrible, fascistic nonsense.
So basically what this administration is saying is they're taking the side of the white supremacy groups.
Sorry, say that again. I
said I think that this administration is siding with the white supremacy groups.
Yeah, they are. Like, the funny thing is that we could just take a big step back from the whole thing and be like, yo, this indictment is literally the FBI being mad at the Southern Poverty Law Center for going after hate groups like the Ku Klux Klan.
Exactly.
Like, they're due process. I don't think that we should do bad things to catch the people in the Ku Klux Klan. We got to operate legally. But again, that's
what they've been doing.
That's what they've been doing. They've been cooperating with law enforcement for the whole dang time. We don't need to beat that dead horse. It's obviously baseless. It's exactly the conclusion I said was probably the case when I wasn't educated on it the first time the caller brought it to me, and then I said I would go do my homework, and I went and did my homework, and I was exactly right. So it's I almost said something silly, which is that it doesn't bear more discussion, but that's not how this show works. People are going to call in and talk to me about this every day for the next probably about week and a half. I find there's about a 10-day cycle where like there's a new talking point, and then every other caller wants to talk about the Southern Poverty Law Center. Until
the next thing drops. Yeah.
until a nuke goes off in Iran, or Trump has a stroke, or whatever, or JD Vance gets caught on a date with Erica Kirk. Whatever's going to happen next on this crazy bingo card we're all keeping track of, they'll drop the talking point about the Southern Poverty Law Center, and it'll just drift away into the news cycle as another fascistic, terrible weaponization of the legal system that happened, that we're all just going to forget about because there's a blitz of fascistic, terrible things happening, and nobody can keep track of them all, and it's my fucking job too, and this job is hard.
It is, and I do the same job you do. It's exhausting.
Just today, I had to remind people about the Venezuela thing, and the chat blew up with the whole like, "Oh my God, thank you for remembering that Iran is tangled up with Venezuela because he's profiting."
Exactly.
And I'm like, yeah, like I sit here and watch this stuff for hours a day, and it takes doing that to sit here and, as one of the previous callers said, connect the dots on why he's doing these things, because it doesn't make sense to go after Maduro. It doesn't make sense to invade Venezuela. It doesn't make sense to start a war in Iran. But if you look at the oil, it makes a ton of sense. Makes loads of sense if you look at the oil involved, the oil of it, the money of it.
That's because Donald Trump in particular, narcissists in general, but Donald Trump in particular, does absolutely nothing unless he's going to benefit and be enriched from it. Nothing. Absolutely nothing unless he can gain something from it, which is money, which is what he's funneling the Venezuela oil sales to a private offshore account that has no congressional oversight or any other oversight. So he has yet another slush fund because he's got that fund, and he's got his $10 billion fucking Board of Peace fund that also has no congressional oversight. So all he is doing is enriching himself where there's no accountability. He can literally do anything with it, and there's no one to stop him because there's no checks or balances.
Yeah. And I spent time talking about that the other day, where I literally had a caller who was trashing the UN and then saying that what Trump is doing with the Board of Peace is okay, and I'm like trying to get him to explain the difference. And he said, "What good has the UN ever done?" So I started listing things. Didn't like that. Didn't care for that. But yeah, there's no oversight. I mean, I feel like a broken record saying this over and over and over again, and I've said it to you so many times, Diava, and to you as well, Midwest. It's like, if Biden had moved $10 billion of taxpayer money into a unregulated account offshore that he controls, there would have been a civil war. I mean, considering what happened on January 6th, like something like that would happen if Biden did almost any of these large moves that Trump is doing. Like, people would have actually revolted, and we're just sitting here upset about it, talking about it, trying to convince people that it's as big a problem that it is. But we're the freaks.
Literally living in idiocracy. I mean, even the Idiocracy movie, I watched it. I never watched it back in the 80s, 90s, wherever it came out.
2005.
I was in the throes of motherhood. I wasn't watching that stuff. But that was not supposed to be a guide.
Yeah, and it's a shame that Idiocracy. I'll be the movie buff that I am for a second. I'll say it's a shame that Idiocracy was made in 2005, because that mid 2000s period was an interesting overlap in the way that like censorship and like woke culture existed in America, where it was towards the end of television and cinema censorship. You could really get away with any kind of dirty joke and any kind of dirty language you wanted in a movie at that time. It wasn't going to get you barred, but we weren't really progressive yet in public ideologies. So if you like public discourse about social matters. So in my opinion, I rewatched it recently to like just kind of see how good a lens that movie is on what's happening right now. And the main arc of the movie, the moral of the story, rings really true of what's going on right now. The president in the movie is a very silly, outlandish character.
Yeah, the dumbest people running the country. Dumbest people running the country.
All that totally. But the movie itself doesn't hold up. It's pretty racist and sexist in a way that's not like defensible in my opinion. There's like
it's goofy.
It's goofy. It's a comedy from 2005. If you know your comedies from the mid 2000s, that's really all you need to say. But like the side character is a woman of color, and she's just the butt of every joke you could ever come up with about women.
Yes,
women
it's
of color.
very sexist.
Very, very sexist and racist, particularly sexist towards her. And in a we're supposed to be laughing with them, not at them sort of way. And the movie would be a lot better if we were just laughing at the characters instead of trying to laugh with them. So the movie doesn't hold up just for, it's been 20 years and that was kind of a dark decade for like the sorts of jokes people were making in comedies. But the movie does like hold up in terms of its moral. It's a frightening glance at what some comedy writer from the mid 2000s thought could happen if we let idiots run the country, and there are visually strikingly similar things in it. Where like, the president is dressed like Hulk Hogan, and then Hulk Hogan is at like Turning Point USA backing up the president, and it's like, are they using the same costume? WWE style politics. It's crazy.
Yes, that is the most glaring similarities. Is in the movie? It's absurd. Okay, it's absurd when you watch it. Like, Jesus, I mean, this is crazy. But then you see what's going on, and you're like, this was literally it wasn't supposed to be a documentary. Okay, same with The Handmaid's Tale. That wasn't supposed to be a documentary.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys know the story about the Crocs in Idiocracy?
No, 2006. By the way, I just googled it. I was off by 1 year, -1 movie buff point for Oscar. But yeah, go ahead, Midwest.
So the Crocs were not a big thing yet, and the producers of the movie wanted to find the dumbest shoes possible and went out and found Crocs, and that was the first time they ever made it like on the national stage.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, here's our main
that's
character
hilarious.
wearing his orange Crocs. How silly.
That's funny. But that movie was you have a Trumper, True Investments or whatever. You have a Trumper in the comment section who wants to come up.
True Investments. All right. I mean, I've invited my friends up, so I'll take lead. But let's do this one as a panel.
I'll be quiet.
Yeah,
I'll try anyway.
True Investments. One more cheeky call before the show ends for the day. What do you want to talk? Oh, first of all, how old are you, True Investments?
Hello, 40. 40. Vote for Trump.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
The prompt here. MAGA is brain rot. Well, who's that?
Well, so brain rot is this phenomenon where people's attention spans get really, really bad, and they don't value truth or education, and they come, and people's ability to reason critically has really been damaged by overuse of social media. So the sign's kind of silly, and it grammatically doesn't really work. But all I'm really prompting with the sign is that MAGA has benefited from such behavior. It's people with short attention spans who are uneducated and incapable of critically reasoning that support Trump.
Nope, we're way more smarter than you. You Democrats. Democrats believe that.
Wait. Can I just ask you a quick question? What are the three branches of the government?
Kind of question is that?
It's a question. It's a basic question about civics in America.
The three governments.
Three branches
China,
of government.
America, Britain.
No. These are the three branches of the government. Shush, Diava.
The three branches?
Yeah, the three branches of the government. So I'll give you an example. One of them is the executive branch. That's where the president works. That's the White House and his cabinet. There's two more. Do you know what the other two are?
What was the first one you said?
The executive branch. That's where the president works. That's his cabinet.
Executive.
Mm-hmm.
Executive, judicial, and legislation.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, do you know what those two other branches do?
Is this, you're going to keep asking me these stupid questions, or are we going to talk about Trump versus Obama?
Well, Obama retired about a decade ago, and he's not really involved
in American
politics.
But he's still running our country. He's still running the deep state.
All right. I'm going to let True Investments go. I advise him to go read about his civics and check who is currently the president.
He was one step away from saying the three branches were Jesus Christ, Charlie Kirk, and Donald Trump.
He said one of them was China. But no. I think we can all agree that was a big L for me because I kicked him. So obviously he was more smarter than me. Sorry.
Oh, definitely.
Oh my god. You guys want to tag team popcorn? Popcorn's here.
Oh God.
Popcorn.
He owes me $5,000.
All right, let's talk to Popcorn. I maybe should send Popcorn some burn cream. Dean Withers has been having his way with him lately. How you doing? How you doing, Popcorn?
Dude, Dean got absolutely demolished.
Dude, you say you cook everybody and your popcorn's burnt. Shut the fuck up. You don't pick nobody.
You actually got one W in on me once because you gave an example of an executive order of Biden that was overturned by the Supreme Court, and you didn't even stick around to celebrate it. Yeah, dude, I give you one
because I had more than one.
I'm not a coward. That's posted to YouTube. It's seen by the world. It's up there.
Well, I don't consider that a win at all.
Good. Neither do I. I'm glad that we agree that the score is fucking 0. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, no, the score is not 0. I've demolished you multiple times, so it's like 22.
The score is not 0. You owe so many people money, Popcorn.
Like 22-0 just with you. But go look at my bio, my record. I am 17,387 0-1. That's my record against you left-wing libs. And the only one tie was when I debated myself. I pretended to be a liberal.
See, this makes me think that you're a troll, dude. I don't know if I can take you seriously as a caller.
That is a troll. Yes, that is a troll. But I'm actually genuine. And when I call up, I actually care about America. I'm a retired commissioned officer, U.S. Army. And I absolutely despise the left.
Why?
So
I don't despise the right. I mean, I despise the politicians on the right, but I don't despise the people. I think most of them have been fooled by liars, and that really breaks my heart. And I worry for those people, and I want them to see the way. Why do you despise us?
Why? Because you could just take TikTok here. If you go from live to live to live, I'm glad you booted that last guy because most people like Parker and Dean would sit there and actually debate that guy, try to get W's and
does this guy sound like Jolly Good Ginger?
Wins.
He does.
He does sound like Jolly Good Ginger.
But I will give you credit that you did boot that guy instead of sitting there trying to make money off of him like Dean.
Why do you despise the left? Do you despise me?
Well, I despise the fact that you support a system that I absolutely disagree with. Boys and girls sports, boys going in girls' bathrooms. My daughters have to face that. Good thing we live in a conservative area.
The president that you support goes into girls' bathrooms.
Yeah, but they knew what they were signing up for. It's a pageant. He owns the pageant.
The children at his pageants were signing up to be sexually abused?
Right. So can you name what children said that he did that? Because everybody that I've found is...
I'll research it.
Miss USA.
I will provide names. I'm going to research. You guys take the call.
It's exploitation. It's sexual exploitation because just like if you're at your job, just because your job, the owner of the company owns the building or owns the business, just because he gave you a job doesn't mean he has the right to walk in on you in the bathroom. You're fucked up if you think that was implied consent because they entered a fucking pageant. That is dumb.
No, what I think it's like is like a janitor or a custodian, a male entering the female's bathroom saying, "Hey, in here," and let's say a deaf female, or maybe she didn't hear, and the custodian walks in or the janitor walks in, and there's a female in there changing, and she's like, "I'm changing." He's like, "Oh no, I would not call that
on purpose. That's not no. That is not the premise. Because Donald Trump said on the Howard Stern show, he goes, "They let me get away with it." If it wasn't wrong, then why did he say they let me get away with it? Because if it's not wrong and he's just walking in there like a goddamn janitor, then why did he say they let me get away with it?
And then it's like the boss went on and bragged about it happening and saying he did it because there was naked women in there.
Yeah, I mean, the guy loves women, and women love...
That's not okay.
Women love to show off their bodies and all that stuff. They love to...
No, they don't. They don't want to be sexually exploited.
Well, then why do they go out there in bikini? So why do they go out there in bikinis and flaunt their stuff in front of millions of people and the world because it's televised?
What about the minors?
So the minors do it too, but again, Trump...
No. Right. Minors cannot give consent. Minors can't give consent.
Right, but
minors can't give consent. Period.
Yeah, but Trump didn't know that.
Minors, yes, he did. You don't think he knew how old the girls were in his Miss Teen USA pageant?
No, I'm saying that
Teen USA pageant.
Right,
when he was in his 60s.
Guys, this is very important here. When Trump goes in, back in the back. Right, he's expecting those women to already be dressed, ready, and he wants to observe them. Hey,
he said,
let me make sure you're ready. These are his own words.
No, Do you have the audio, Oscar?
Yeah.
You can play what he said because this man is twisting what he said.
Oh, you want the Howard Stern tape?
True.
You want the Howard Stern tape?
I want the Howard Stern tape of him walking in there and why he did it.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Picking out women.
Shut up.
Ooh, my bookmark went missing.
Yeah, he's picking out women. That's why they're there. That's why they're there.
Children.
They're not children. They're
minors.
They're grown women.
Minors.
They're in their 20s.
Minors.
They're in their 20s.
By definition, Miss Teen USA is not in their 20s.
Minors.
They're 20s.
Miss Teen USA is not in
their 20s.
They're in their teens, Popcorn. That's why it's Miss Teen USA.
Go find
I know
all
that you
these
don't understand how words and definitions work.
I did just to take the floor for a second. I did find the article where they talked about the 4 women who, when they were teens, competed in Miss Teen USA, and you wanted a name.
Exactly.
And Mariah Beato is the former Miss Vermont Teen USA. She and 3 others who chose to remain anonymous corroborated the story that he told about himself on Howard Stern that we are about to listen to. So again, you asked for names. There they are. But
well, it's a different story.
Be quiet. We said the minors, and you said they were all 20. So just be quiet.
Yes, they were all adults.
Be quiet. They were not adults.
They were adults. Go look up the.
They're adults now.
They're
fucking
adults.
idiot.
They were 21 when it happened.
No, they were not.
21 and 22.
My daughter is beautiful, Ivanka. By the way, your daughter. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of. Yeah.
The last couple of years, I go out with somebody, and she's like 21, and she's talking about, what are you doing? And she's studying algebra. And
so what?
And it's like, it was always embarrassing for me to walk in. It's too young. 30's like a perfect age.
Absolutely. She has enough life experience. Until she's 35. Too much life experience.
What is it at 35, Howard? It's called checkout time.
And you're probably, I would say, the greatest judge of beauty on this planet. In fact, I would create a TV show for you where all you did was just judge women.
Now, that may be the best idea of all.
It's a simple thing. It's a half hour, and we strip it out all over the country.
I would say I'm the all-time judge.
You own this pageant. You go over, you're meeting the girls and stuff. One of them comes up to you and says, Mr. Trump, you're a very sexy man.
You're a beautiful man. You have fantastic hair.
Well, you're a powerful man. Right? You're a powerful man. Right. I want to sleep with you. Now, you're not the type that would say no.
I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right. No, but I mean, you see a beautiful woman, you want to have that. You're a guy who likes to have everything. Right?
Well, could that be construed, however, as
conflict?
Yes.
I don't see it as a conflict.
It could be a conflict of interest, but it's the kind of thing you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later on.
The question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with the vagina. And
well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
you're like a doctor. You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Love it. Yes.
If there's nothing wrong with it. If there's nothing wrong with it, if there was nothing wrong with it, why does he say he gets away with it?
Because you just can't go into a building and see naked women standing in front of you willingly.
That's sexual exploitation.
Willingly. It's not sexual exploitation.
It
is absolutely not sexual exploitation. It is not that your opinion. It's not a fact. We know it's not a fact.
It is.
One, there's been no charges against him by those individuals.
Because they're scared of him, dumbass.
But they're not scared enough to come out and just keep talking about it? No, they're not scared of him. It's made up.
This interview was years ago. You are disgusting.
Thousands of women that participated.
How many women have
only
you raped?
4 is all you can point.
How many women have you raped?
None.
Sick bitch.
None. How many have you? Tons. Out of these thousands of women, only 4 or 3 come up and say, well, I felt a little uncomfortable. Don't go to the pageant and show your body off. Stop showing their body off to the world.
Or they were willing to give their names.
You're a hypocrite.
What happened?
If you go on stage and on camera to the world to show your naked body or semi-naked body, don't sit here and complain about Trump walking into a dressing room.
They aren't naked in a pageant on the stage.
They're flaunting.
They're not
yes,
naked.
They are. Yes.
They're not. This guy's an idiot.
They got on bikinis, strutting their stuff.
That's not naked, asshole.
Popcorn is an idiot. He's called in before. We know that about him.
Popcorn, you're one step away from saying, well, she had it coming because how she was dressed.
No, I'm saying that they go in front of the entire public and strut their stuff. They show off their body, and they get graded on their body.
They're not naked,
and they get graded on their body.
They're
so when
not
Trump
naked.
most of these.
So when they're not on stage, do they have any say of who can see them and who can't, just because they do it on stage?
None of these women mind showing off their naked body. None of them.
But that's why they didn't consent. They're backstage. It's a different time.
They are consenting.
They are not fucking naked.
They are being. They are. By being there, they are consenting. You're consenting, and you signed away.
You're consenting for them to judge your,
Let me ask Popcorn a question. Popcorn.
You're consenting for them to judge your body in your gown and your bathing suit and stuff like that. You are not consenting to them seeing you and walking into the dressing room while you are naked.
Popcorn.
And they're naked.
Popcorn.
And they want to be naked.
Let me
That's
ask
why
you
they're there.
Popcorn. Let me ask you a question.
Oh my God, he's thick.
Popcorn. Can a 15-year-old consent to any sexual activities with an adult? Not a hard question.
No, not legal. No.
Oh my God, is Popcorn Russell Brand?
Everybody wants to see his face because he comes up and says horrible things. Don't worry, I already have his face. I've already tricked him into doing that.
But do you have evidence of that?
Him saying himself that he did it on Howard Stern is pretty good evidence, in addition to the witness testimony.
Yeah, but he also said the perfect age is 30.
He also said that his daughter's really hot.
No, she's a hot piece of ass.
No, he didn't say that.
I think Howard Stern said that. And he
said he'd be dating her if it wasn't his daughter.
And he said,
Howard Stern said that, so you lied
And he
again.
said,
Howard Stern
And
said that. and
uh-huh.
Trump, now, I will say Trump is weird in that way. I will admit that. But again, show proof, show evidence
That's
that backs
not
your
weird.
claim up,
That's
because
criminal.
you've not
That's
done
not
so
weird.
thus far.
That's not weird. It's criminal.
It's not criminal. It's weird. It's not criminal. Can you tell me how it's criminal?
You are a sick motherfucker. That's all.
How is it criminal to say that
you
your
are
daughter
a sick motherfucker?
is attractive?
Is what you are.
Can you give me an example? Any law that points
Every
to
father on the planet says
any
their
law?
daughter's
It
attractive.
is weird. It's
no
very
one
weird.
Said,
but what
no
law?
one said. Every father thinks their daughter
what
is
law does it
attractive
break?
or beautiful or whatever, but no father goes around and says their daughter is a hot piece of ass,
He didn't say that.
Or allows anyone sitting
You're
around
lying
them
again. He never said. He never said that.
Shut.
Never said that.
I'm done. It's friendly time. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I was about to. I was literally sitting with my finger on the button, Diava. You beat me to it.
Fuck that motherfucker. He's disgusting.
Popcorn
and
is-
anyone who.
Popcorn is one of the worst of the worst. Yeah.
He should not be platformed anymore. He is dangerous, and his rhetoric is disgusting, saying that these girls want to be seen naked at 15 years old. He is disgusting, and he's probably on some sexual offender list.
Yeah.
Popcorn, pay up all the money you owe, too.
Yeah, he owes a bunch of us a bunch of money. I don't think he owes me any money. I don't really do the betting thing on here, but
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, he really is. Like when I started doing this, there were like I feel like 12 popcorns who like really like came after me a lot and wanted to keep calling me. Like I don't know how many times that guy Fawcett called in, but they all of those losers have stopped calling in because I'm just getting too good at this. Like it just doesn't go well for them. Popcorn's the only one who keeps trying, and I don't know. You're right, Diava. We should stop platforming. He really is.
I have him blocked. I've had him blocked for months and months and months and months because he is literally the worst. It is so vile. And as someone who's been a victim of sexual assault, it is extremely, extremely offensive when they say they want to be looked at or whatever. Just because I go to the beach in a bathing suit does not mean that I'm naked or that I'm comfortable being naked in front of you. Just like these women are in bathing suits doesn't mean that they're comfortable and they're consenting to their naked bodies being looked at and ogled and exploited. Every woman that goes to the beach that wears a bikini does not mean that she wants people to see her naked or that she's consenting for any of them to walk in on her when she walks to the bathroom. Just because she's wearing a bikini. That doesn't give you the right. And it's not implicit consent to ogle their naked bodies because they wore a bikini.
I don't even remember what it was that Popcorn said the other day that had my chat insisting that he turn his camera on. I can't believe he did it. So I know what he looks like. I know, I have his face. It's in my VODs. But yeah, that guy's a problem. You know, a lot of the guests that call in are like imbeciles or just like, you know, lost in the sauce with the Fox News talking points or whatever.
Or incels.
Yeah, just incels or whatever. And like, no, I don't think that's Popcorn. I think Popcorn is like...
What does he look like? Do you have the picture?
Was it yesterday or the day before? If you guys talk amongst yourselves, I bet I could find his face in the next like 60 seconds.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you guys talk amongst yourselves.
He's dangerous. He's gross. And it's highly offensive to women because 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 women have been sexually assaulted in their lifetime. Unfortunately, I have been twice. Not okay. And it's not cool. And the way that they talk about these girls and these women as if they're just objects because they entered a pageant is fucking vile.
And then they question why someone would wait to report a essay. Exactly. And there's people like Popcorn. Like that, Popcorn's the reason.
Because nobody believes us anyway.
Right.
Or they'll be like, what were you wearing? Were you wearing a bikini?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
The amount of times that the E. Jean Carroll debate has happened on here and it's still going on absolutely blows my mind.
I'm getting pretty... My audience knows I'm getting real sick of going over the E. Jean Carroll details.
Because they don't know anything. That's the problem. They're not curious. They don't read. They don't want to know. They could simply go read the transcript of the entire testimony of the trial or just excerpts of it if they didn't want to read the whole thing. They can go and look and see what evidence was produced. Because when you have a transcript, I know, because I was a court reporter and I've prepared thousands of transcripts in my lifetime. And you have to have all of the exhibits, all of the evidence has to be attached and referenced in the transcript. So if they want to know what evidence was presented, they just have to go fucking read it. But they don't do it because they're dumb, they're intellectually lazy, and because they don't want to know the truth. I truly do not believe they want to know.
And then they
know it's horrific. They know it's awful.
And then they do what the guy earlier was doing, where he just makes up facts to make himself right. Yep.
Yeah. He was an informant. That's not even what Trump alleged. Trump said he had an unfair trial. Had nothing to do with that he was an informant. Yeah. So Trump has never even said he was an informant. He said because he thought he got railroaded. That man was under investigation for like 10 years. Yeah. Our FBI, our DEA, our CIA, all of those people have worked for close to a decade to get that man. And he got 45 years in prison and he spent less than 2. And Trump let him out. This guy literally was a rug dealer into the United States and 400 tons. A ton is 2,000 pounds. That is a fucking lot of snow, okay? And I think Don Jr. owns most of it.
That is a lot of snow.
Past tense.
Jesus Christ. That guy got me fired the fuck up. Sorry.
I'm still looking for his face. I'm scrubbing through my VODs from the last 5 days. I don't remember which day it was that I had him on and he showed his face.
Real quick, I'm just going to say this. Trigger warning for anyone that's suffered abuse. SA. In 2019, so just a few years ago, I wanted to go watch the Dallas Cowboys game because it wasn't on TV in my local area. So I went to a nearby bar. So I knew I was going to drink. So I took an Uber there so that I could get back home safely and not drink and drive. So I went to the bar, had a blast, watched the game, called an Uber to come pick me up. And while on the way home, the Uber driver put his hands down my pants and assaulted me and then dropped me off at my house. That was literally 7 years ago.
That's terrible.
So when you think when women try to do the right thing, women try to do, be responsible, go, want to have fun but be responsible. So we hire, we do the responsible thing and we get an Uber and get an Uber home and all that kind of stuff. Men still take advantage of us. What was I wearing? A Dallas Cowboy jersey and some leggings. So it doesn't matter what women are wearing because they're going to assault us anyway. And the first time it happened to me, I was 14. But that was actual grape. But so I'm just saying, it's not that it doesn't happen or that women are just sensitive and we're just being extra or that we ask for it or that we put ourselves in that situation or any of that stuff. We're the only, that's not popcorn.
That's popcorn.
No.
Am I tripping? I'm pretty sure that's popcorn.
Yeah, that's a different guy.
Different. Oh man, I'm just. I might have to edit this.
Because I got his face too. That's not popcorn.
Wait, let's go
It's
audio.
confusing because they never wear shirts.
Let's hold on. Let's audio on. Which one is this?
That's Albano. That's Albano.
Oh, that is Albano. You're right.
Dabano.
All right. I'll have to edit flag that so I don't.
Yeah, that's Dabano.
Well, darn! I should have tried to get popcorn's face. I thought that was popcorn.
Oh, okay.
Whoopsie daisy.
But when women we're the only species on Earth. Females, women are the only species on Earth that have to try to make nice with our only known predator. And coexist with our only known predator, and that's men. Okay? Now, if you think about it in that context, that's a sobering statement.
Well, and it's one of those things where like these are the sorts of crimes that don't go away if we fix scarcity, right? Like people stop robbing the corner store if we just feed everybody and like make sure that society's cared for. But unfortunately, there are crimes like, certain crimes against children, obviously certain crimes against, women, disproportionately violent, like interpartner violence, that sort of thing. Like these are things that don't really go away when we fix scarcity. These problems crop up in societies because some people really are just bad in that way, and we can try to fix that by giving kids better education, and maybe fewer people will grow up to be like Popcorn or El Baño, who's also terrible. So I don't mind showing his. I'm not upset that I confuse those two guys because they're both equally horrible monsters. But yeah, we can get rid of a lot of crime just by making the world better, but we can't. And you're right, Diava. We are stuck navigating the world with these people in them, and if you're a woman, that's terrifying. But those people don't care.
I think the way that we fix it is by holding people accountable, because if you look at the amount of victims that every offender has, the earlier you stop them, that tree stops. So if they have 20 victims, if that first person feels comfortable and holds them accountable, you stop those other 19. And yeah, scarcity and fixing poverty and things like that aren't going to fix it. But making it an environment where people actually report and people are held accountable then stops those other 19 victims.
100% agree. And if somebody falsely reports, they go to jail.
Absolutely.
Because we have to get out of this. The reason why, and when I was 14, I never told anybody. I'm not trauma dumping. I've gone through therapy. I've worked through this. I promise. I'm good.
Well, it's just that these people don't understand that so many people don't immediately go to, for the victim. It feels like you're telling on yourself often because it's such a horrible, embarrassing thing that happened, and it's so personal.
I also came from a deeply religious family where I felt my own parents would ask me what I was wearing, and why did I put myself in that situation to become unpure? That's what I would have gotten. So I knew it wasn't safe to tell my parents because I knew what they would think or what they would say. And so it wasn't just the law. It was my own parents, because they were so deeply evangelical and religious that, if we did something, they're like, well, why did you put, if something happened to us, they always ask you, well, why did you put yourself in that situation? And it's like, I didn't want to be looked at by my own parents as being unpure or whatever, because, in purity culture, that's the most important thing, is that you're pure, And so that's why I never told anybody. I told my mom when I was 33 what happened to me at 14. So, and she's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you didn't tell me. I'm like, well, when I asked if I could wear makeup when I was 12, you took me to a psychiatrist.
Yeah, I mean, and that tangles in with this whole repressive thing in general.
Yes.
Like, it's something I talk a lot with Republicans about outside the context of these gender issues, but like, the fact that they're upset about us dyeing our hair or, like dancing flamboyantly.
Nose
piercings or whatever we wear, all these silly things that we get up to. And it's just like, I don't need, like, it's so embarrassing in like a vicarious sense where these people are like, how are you not embarrassed on the TV with your rubber wang out? And I'm like, dude, like, you don't understand how freeing it is to be on the TV with your rubber wang out and not be embarrassed. It's delightful. It's wonderful. It's wonderful to not be embarrassed about myself.
I have never been on TV with my rubber wang out, so maybe I got to try that.
Dude, people are calling me up. They're like, yo, Oskar, I saw you on TV with your rubber wang out. And I'm like, I know, isn't it hilarious? And they're like, I can't believe you got Fox News to talk about you with your rubber wang out. And I'm like, yeah, the trolling is working. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. But yeah, and then, when they attack us for having our rubber wangs out, we get to say that having your rubber wang out just isn't, first of all, illegal at all. But it's also just not nearly as big a deal as the president being a sex offender, which he is. Not a registered one, I don't think. That's not how that works with civil litigation. But he should be. He is, as a matter of fact, a person who commits sexual offenses, is what I mean when I say that. But we have to sit... Go ahead. I was
going to say, if I could just add one more layer, that's also very problematic as to why Republicans and conservatives in general don't want sex education taught. Because they're like, oh, I don't want our kid, that's up for the parents, all this kind of stuff. No, if you don't educate children young about good touch, bad touch, and sexual education, it leads to more abuse of children. Because if children know early enough on when something happens to say something, but if they don't know what their body parts are, or if they don't know who's supposed to be touching it and who's not, those kind of things, it leads to more abuse of children. But then at the same time, conservatives want to lower the age of consent for child marriage. None of this shit makes sense.
No.
Yeah. It's a bit, not a coincidence that all these, horrible ideologies about women, it's not like some people think that some of these ideologies are reasonable. It's that some people, like Popcorn, think that all of these ideologies are reasonable. And those people are a fucking problem. Oh, you think the age of consent should be lower? Oh, you think it's okay for a person who owns a pageant to barge into a women's only space at that pageant? Like, you think that that's okay? Like, the one thing that happens a lot in that conversation, and I've seen it with guests on Dean Withers, I have my own background in this because I'm a theater kid from New York, so I've been in performance spaces as a minor. No, dude, that shit is extra locked down when there are children on set. It's like, it's a whole big thing about responsibility. Like, as an educator in my past work experience, it's something you have to consider. Like, as a male like childcare professional or educator, you have to work really hard to make sure you're never alone with a child at all. Like, that's just something you watch out for. Oh, you stepped into this room. You need to have a conversation with me about something. Let's step out into the hallway where everybody can see us, and we'll talk about it.
Even my ex-husband was an electrician, and he would get called to people's houses to do side work on the weekends and stuff because he had a regular job. And he would show up to people's houses all the time, and some teenage girl answers the door. They're like, "Oh yeah, my parents told me you were coming." He's like, "Are your parents home?"
Yeah, nope.
No, they will be in a minute. He goes, "I'll wait out here in the driveway till one of your parents gets home." Yeah, he would not walk in that door. He says, all I had to do was walk through that door. And if she said I brushed her chest with my arm or I did something, he goes, it's her word against mine. He goes, I'm not ruining my life over an electrician job. So he would sit in the driveway until a parent got home. And they would be, the parents would be like, oh my goodness, you could have just gone in and got started. And he's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, and I've had situations like that where it's gotten in the way of the work I'm doing, but the parents are always happy that you're looking out for the kid first. Like, that's right. Like, it's not a reasonable parent who's upset that the electrician didn't get to work on time. Like, that's
exactly
that's an electrician that in the world I'd like to live in gets a nice tip because they went out of their way to make sure that they were operating ethically, and that's the type of shit that, like, oh, am I a soy boy for that? Am I a woke weak sauce liberal for that? Like, yeah, call me all the names you want, but like.
Sure.
I don't create situations in which children have a risk of being victimized. I try to keep a vigilant eye for that type of shit in the course of my life. If that makes me whatever insult you want to call me that insult all day long. You child predator.
I'd much rather have someone be looking out for the protection of my child than the exploitation of my child. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I commend. Not that I have to commend my ex-husband, because I see that's the right thing to do, like as a human. But he was very vigilant about making sure that he was never, ever put in that situation. So there never could be an accusation lobbied against him, which I think was smart. And very good. And he's like, I don't want there to be anything that could be considered impropriety or anything like that. So,
you got it.
We shouldn't have to commend men. It should be normal that they don't do that.
Right. God, it breaks my heart every time some girl like thanks me for like whatever not shitty thing I did. Like, oh, are you excited that I didn't take advantage of you? I'm sorry. Like, that's terrible. Like, God damn it. Like, why is that? Why is the bar in hell? That's terrible. But it happens,
We are thankful when a guy just treats us with dignity and respect and doesn't take advantage of us. Yes.
I wish it wasn't like that. I wish that's not the way that it was, but it is the way that it is. On that note, I am going to wrap up the stream. So I'd love to give you two an opportunity. Midwest, I don't think you have anything to shout out, but of course you are welcome if you want to give yourself a commercial.
No, just make sure you follow Oskar. April's almost over. He's doing streaming every single day that he hasn't caught a banana. But thanks for having me up.
Yeah, always appreciate having you on. Have a good one. He's Midwest is just a friend of the show. He just comes on, supports these lives, mine and other people's, and he does great work.
He comes to mine too.
He does moderation work. He sometimes, when I'm busy with the chat, like with the call, he'll find the source for me, so I don't have to Google. Like there's like the guy's doing legitimate work that makes this easier for me, and he's doing it for free. So I just got to extend my thanks to him every time he comes up and does some work for me because he's incredible at it. And Diava does the same. Diava does all of that and more. And I'll let Diava talk herself up a little bit before I do the commercial for myself and sign off.
If you guys want to, if you guys liked anything that you heard or you wanted to give me a follow, I know somebody mentioned that they wanted to follow me. Please feel free. I do my own lives as well every single day, 7 days a week, from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'm on I'll be on in a couple hours. Or about 2.5 hours. But yeah, I do 7 days a week. I'm definitely not as patient as Oskar.
It's my superpower.
He has the patience of a saint. I'm much more fiery, as you can probably tell. I'm a lot less tolerant. But, that's the beauty of a bunch of different left-wing creators doing it their own way. It makes it variety, and it's not boring if every creator did the exact same shtick, so to speak. So, if you want to give me a follow, I'd be happy to welcome you into my live at 4 p.m. Eastern today.
Thank you very much, Diava.
Thank you for all the kind words, everybody. And yes, our mods do the work. Like I do it for you, but I have tons of mods and I usually have a lot of people in my lives. It's a lot of work and nobody gets paid for it. Everyone does it as a labor of love because we're all working for the common goal of democracy and getting the word out there and truth and facts. So everybody that helps mod or anything like that, just know from not just me, but Oskar and every left creator, we couldn't possibly do this without all of you guys' support. And we're eternally grateful for all of the support.
I really didn't even realize when I started how frequently the bans I was getting or like the restrictions I was getting was just because I wasn't able to moderate my chat that well. And now that I'll have a week go by where I don't get a single restriction and I'm just like, oh, my mods have solved that problem. All these mysterious restrictions that I was getting were just nonsense in the chat that I'm not able to keep up with when I'm on the call. So you guys really are making the show happen. It's truly incredible. el.chico.tech.edu is still in the request queue. Goodbye. No, the show is over.
That guy's obsessed. I have some that are obsessed with me too.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna kick you for the algorithm. Thank you very much for hopping.
All right, bye. Have a good day, guys. Love you. See you at 4.
See Diava at 4. Make sure to follow her. And really quick, I'll talk to the chat for a moment, but I do just want to, before I do the closeout and the commercial, just say thanks, everybody. I have my 10,000 followers on Instagram, so I get to toy around with the monetization and professional tools on there now. Thank you very much for that. So I'm not going to be shilling for my Instagram too hard anymore, but I will shill for my YouTube. You should go to my YouTube in the link tree in the bio and follow me on there. I do see that we have some people who came over from YouTube to TikTok. Who was that? I saw it there. Tavis Kama said, glad to make a live. Typically I catch the YouTube uploads. The YouTube uploads are there's like a pipeline of 5 more. I've got this sheet I'm working on getting caught up because I've decided on just actually posting each of these as a full podcast VOD. And I'm literally over the next 48 hours going to just buckle down and sit here at the desk and try to get each one of them. I have to watch through each of them to get my clips for Instagram, which is very time consuming. I listen to it on double speed and then I have to go back and edit the clips and stuff. So I'm hoping that by the end of the weekend, I'll be caught up such that the live that happens on TikTok gets immediately posted to YouTube that day and it's just 1 for 1 and I'm caught up. But I don't want to I could just post this live today, but I don't want to have them posted out of order from each other. I want them to at least be chronological for the people who watch through the VODs. So I'm almost caught up, and I'm going to hit like play on a video render that was happening in the background before I started the show. So anyway, yeah. W for the 10,000 from Midwest. Yeah, that was the goal. That was like my big goal for stuff like that. Yeah, Diavotox is giving me a hint to write down a time everything a caller says that you want to clip. I've decided that that's not the path because the way I lock in my conversations, like when that stone-faced look I have when I'm thinking of what to say, I just cannot divide my attention up. It fucks it up too much. So even though it's laborious, I do like that I curate my clips by actually re-listening to the lives. And it is good for my skill as a live host to listen back to the lives and just listen to how I do and notice, oh man, I didn't notice this pivot, they got me, or like, oh, this was a bad argument, I should have answered it this way. It's actually like one of the reasons I think that this is snowballing and I'm getting better. And that gives me a good opportunity to also like make sure I can go bookmark my resources, things that I didn't have fast enough during the live. I try to fix those things as I go. So it's time consuming, but that's why I'm getting good at this in a hurry. That's why my Instagram is doing so well. That's why the VODs are doing so well on YouTube. Because even though I don't have a big following on there, it is remarkable that these videos are getting hundreds of watch hours from people just going and listening to the VODs after the fact. So wherever you came from, wherever you found me, thank you. And I'll just ask you guys to keep it up. I got 82 new followers just from sitting here and doing this, and the fact that it's very encouraging for the progress that I'm making. That every time I sit down to do this, I get 50 to 100 to 150 new followers, depending on how busy the show gets. And I have people like Midwest Progressive and Diava Talks to thank for help run the show. I have people like Mama Avery and Will and everybody else on the moderation team that keeps track of the chat, so that I don't have to focus on that. It is obviously. It's just incredible that these people do this much work for me. I'm watching the game tape like an athlete. I really am. It's very, very hard to keep it all straight, to keep all the information straight and keep up with these lives. So tomorrow, 10 to 12 CST, I'll be back because that's the time. The time will change, I believe, on May 1st. But I don't know what the time will become. I have like a work schedule thing that's happening, so I will be adjusting the time in about a week. But for now, it's going to be 10 to 12 CST with Just Us Girls Hour at some point at the end. Not exactly starting at 12, but whenever the show winds down. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out for 2.5 hours. You guys have a lovely day.